Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, the last day of August 31st, 2013. This is episode 1009. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly, all streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time to talk about computers. It's time to talk about the internet. It's time to talk about digital photography, smartphones, home theater, and all that jazz. That's what we do each and every weekend. Hello. Good to see you. I bet you have some questions about that stuff. It's changing all the time. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's always different, always something new, something exciting. So we never have to get bored. That's one of the reasons I like this topic. Also, no one dies most of the time, you know, at least not in an unnatural way. So it's you know, even if there's controversy, it's nothing like life-threatening. So I like that. If you have a question, there's something you want to talk about, 8888-ASK-LEO is the number, 888-827-5536. You know, the biggest, I guess, harm that's done out there these days is malware. And yeah, there's another report now that there's a problem on the Macintosh computer. You don't hear a lot about these. Somebody who is sitting at your computer can mess with the clock in such a way that that they can get access to your system. Oh, wow. Oh, dear. Can I point out something? We hear a lot of these.
Yes.
We hear a lot of these. People are sitting at your computer and they can get your passwords out of Chrome is one. People are sitting at your computer, they could put bad stuff on it. Yes, this is true. If somebody has physical access to your computer, you're kind of out of luck. Don't... So when I read about, big vulnerability in Macintosh, resetting the clock can give them root access, it's like, well, you know, there are other ways they can get root access too. They got to be sitting at your computer. This is not something really terribly scary. So but it is scary if you at work, you just get up and you go to lunch and you leave your computer unlocked, or at home, other people are using your system. Maybe your kids bring their friends in, or maybe you use a computer in a public area at a library or a school. That's when this means something. So it's really important to understand that if you are letting others use your computer, or if your computer is at work, you need a password to log into it. I know it's a pain. This is a common trade-off in life. Convenience versus security. If you lock your door, yeah, you got to unlock it to go in the house. Oh, shucks. If you lock your computer, yeah, you have to type a password to use it, but so does the bad guy. And it's really quite simple. If you have a good password on your computer and you lock it, and you set it, for instance, if you have a screensaver so that when maybe you go to lunch or go to the bathroom at work and you forget to lock your computer or log off, that's okay. Set a screensaver that goes off in a couple of minutes, and make sure it needs a password to come back from the screensaver, things like that. You know, it's an even better thing to do. You really want to be a little more secure, and this has no penalty, is turn on the full disk encryption built into your operating system. If you're on a Mac, it's called File Vault. On Windows, it's called BitLocker. See, there's a certain similarity to the idea there. Turn that on. It won't slow anything down on a modern computer, but what's nice is somebody can't just take your computer, take the hard drive out, and access the contents, even without a login, you know. So everything is encrypted until you log in. That's an extra nice bonus. And here's something I just learned. I didn't know. If you use a solid-state drive, lots of laptops these days do. You know those flash drives? They're not spinning drives. They're made out of the same stuff that you put in your camera for memory. Flash drives. They're very fast. They're great. I don't buy a new computer without a flash drive, to be honest. It makes such a difference in speed. Even my desktops have flash drives. But I learned something interesting. It's very hard to erase the contents of a flash drive. There's no real way to do that. There is on a spinning drive, you know. You can run a program, nuke the contents of it, so even if somebody gets the physical drive, they can't access whatever was on it. Not true on an SSD. And here's the really bad news. There's no way to go back and erase it. So if you have, as I do, an SSD in your laptop and you didn't turn on full disk encryption before you even used it, there's stuff on there that is unencrypted and cannot be encrypted, cannot be erased sometimes. So we're all very aware of privacy these days. If you buy a new computer with a solid-state drive, turn on full disk encryption first thing. And if you've used it and now are turning on full disk encryption, just be kind of aware. Over time, as you use the computer, stuff gets overwritten. You probably, over time, less and less stuff is accessible. But if somebody were to get your computer, and this is really important for a laptop or an external drive, they'd be able to access what's on it. It is not possible, I'm told by my hard drive guru, Steve Gibson, to securely erase a solid-state drive. So you learn something new all the time. So now whenever I get a new computer, File Vault on a Mac, BitLocker on a PC, you turn it on right away. Make sure that your stuff is safe. But truthfully, if you do those simple things, have a login, use encryption, and even, if somebody has physical access to your computer, you're pretty safe. And if somebody does have unimpeded physical access, if you don't have a password and you just let anybody use your computer, well, there's a whole lot of ways they can mess with you. Whole lot of ways. Much more common, though, and the thing to be aware of is malware that comes in over the transom through the email, an attachment, or a file you downloaded. We saw a new spate of attacks. Was it through Facebook with links that said, oh, here's a video of you. This has just been happening again. Click this link, and you go to the link, and it says, oh, you need to update your flash, and you update your flash, and oh, man, that wasn't flash. Oh, dear. Bad guys need to get you to run some stuff on your computer. If they don't have physical access to it, they have to get you to do it. We're hearing a lot of people now calling with this money pack, ransomware. Most of you, I think, when you see a big sign pop up on the screen that says, FBI, you're in trouble. You've been looking at child pornography or you've been downloading music. So pay us $300 and we'll let you off the hook. Huh? I don't think the FBI works that way, especially because on this particular version of the ransomware, it says go down to 7-Eleven and buy a money-back certificate and send it to us. I think most people know that isn't the FBI. Problem is it takes over your system. You can't do anything else. That's because you let a bad guy run a program on your system. He may not have had physical access. If he didn't, then you ran that program without thinking about it, without knowing about it. Don't freak out. And don't do what one guy did. One guy said, oh, my goodness. And he said, oh, the police, they've got me. He went down. He brought his computer down to the police department. He said, yeah, look, see, you got me. And they went through his computer, and sure enough, there was child porn on it, and they arrested the guy. Actually, it's good. Just shows you. Crooks find infinite ways to be stupid. Maybe I shouldn't tell anybody. This is not the FBI. It's not. It's not the Department of Justice. It's not. It's just, we call it ransomware because it holds your computer hostage and says, give me money, and I'm not going to unlock it. Here's another thing. If you were, you did send them money, and they did unlock it, which seems highly unlikely, but let's say they did. You shouldn't assume everything's okay, hunky-dory, continue on, as if nothing happened. You probably have other stuff on there. So I'm just saying this up front. So Heather, we've flattened this. No malware calls today. If you got something bad on your computer, my answer is always the same. Format it and start over. You have to. And the only way a bad guy can get something on your computer is to get a program run, either by running it himself because he's sitting down at your system. Don't let him do that. Have a password. Or because you fell for a scam, a trick. You clicked a link. You didn't keep your system up to date. That's another way, by the way. Windows XP is going to go out of end of life, go out of service in April. And at that point, Microsoft's not going to update it for security flaws. Guess we're going to be talking a lot about that next spring. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your call's next. Okay, so here's a little tip. Don't leave coconut water on your desk for 3 days at room temperature. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number, 888-827-5536. At 33 and a third after the hour, home theater guru Scott Wilkinson will join us. And Scott and I are going to talk about the hottest new TV technology ever. Just coming out now, OLED TVs. You've heard about plasma. You've heard about LCD. You've heard about LED backlit LCD. Forget everything you ever heard. The new initials are OLED. I'll talk about it in just a bit. But first, we should go to the phones, and Heather Hammond has been carefully cultivating the callers, grooming them for appearance on national radio. Are they ready?
Don't do that. You'll make them nervous.
Don't be afraid. There's only 1 million people listening. I
exactly.
Love it. And then they hyperventilate when I put them on. They go, that's cruel.
Some people tell you ahead of time they're a little nervous. I say, it's just like talking to someone
It's
on
just
the
me.
phone.
You know, we hardly anybody listens to this show. You're really pretty safe. Basically, everybody's off listening to the home improvement show, the gardening show, the money show.
What?
They're all listening to those other guys. So, you know, this is just you and me.
Okay.
Shh, don't tell them otherwise.
I know. I'm just going along with what you're saying.
Yeah, just go along.
So let's talk to Mike in Portland. I think he can handle it.
I'm sure Mike can. Hey, Mike, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Heather is not only cultivating, she's culling callers.
Oh, yeah. Did she hang up on you 3 times before you got on there?
Well, not me, because I'm Mike in Portland, right?
Oh, you're the Mike. Yeah. No, she has to do that. And, people don't understand the way talk radio works. They think, I call in with a problem, Leo will answer it. And it's really more complicated than that. We have to carefully shape the calls.
Well, one of the things that Heather told me to tell you for sure is that you're interrupted by the Yankees, but not to me. I've got you on XM and online, so they can't cut you off from me.
Oh, you're in Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine.
If they're interrupting the Portland, Oregon television with the Yankees, something's deeply wrong. Okay, Portland, Maine. I got it.
Portland, Maine. I'm your Maine man.
I got it. So,
Anyway.
Yeah, go on, please.
Up here in Time Warner country,
yes.
Time Warner has decided that I must pay them now $6 a month for my modem, which kind of seems ridiculous. That should be part of the charge.
No. Everybody else does that too.
Well, I understand, and that's fine. But they give me a list of modems that I can purchase on my own if I want to. And
yes.
Then the one that they recommend the most highly is the Motorola SB6141, which I can get on Amazon for about $80, which is not a bad deal.
So let's see, 80 divided by 6. It means in a year and a month it's paid for.
Well, even better than that, I think, and this is what I really need to check with you about, is I also have my phone via Time Warner, and that's connected to the modem, and they won't charge for the phone modem. They'll have to put in a separate one and split it off, and do all those good things. But I was thinking, I'm paying $40 a month for the phone. I could get UMA for $125.
You could.
And what I'm curious about are the pitfalls I might find with UMA, because I remember a little bit about the old POTS system, and I do have a line in the house that I have my current Time Warner phone connected to.
That's good.
And there are 7 items on there. And I'm wondering if UMA is going to be able to handle what used to be called the REN, or ringer equivalency number.
Yeah, they do that. The only thing that is iffy on VoIP, which is a little tricky, is E911. And some VoIPs, UMA, I think, provides E911. That's the regional 911. It's not going to call your local Portland Fire Department for you. So my recommendation, by the way, Time Warner, that Time Warner phone ain't a real phone either.
No, it's a VoIP phone, and I know I'm on VoIP now, and it's been great. I've had it for many, many years, and I'm not even worried about 911 because I have the police number programmed into my phone. I mean, what's the big deal?
Yeah, you call them directly. But the thing is, now here's the thing. So the whole point of 911 is that you call them and they know where you are, even if you're going, They know, and they can send somebody out, an ambulance. The E911, and this came from cell phones, don't necessarily know exactly where you are. And on a VoIP, what you have to do, and I don't know if Time Warner made you do this, is log into your account and say, this is my address of record. See, the reason is, you could pack it in your bag in your suitcase and bring it on vacation with you. And so when you call that 911, you could be in Bora Bora, but they'll send an ambulance to Portland. So with VoIP, you want to register the address of record and change it if you happen to move so that the ambulance comes to the right place.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But again, what I'm most concerned about is the POTS lines and connecting the 7 phones to it.
Yeah, because what happens with all of these is that they well, not all of them actually. Skype doesn't do this, but what happens with UMA is that unit that you plug into your internet then becomes a standard POTS interface. Okay, and it'll be able to handle all that old. You remember the old? I'm pretty sure it handles RAN. I'm pretty sure it handles that.
Great.
Yeah. What they do, it's simulated, obviously. And you said 7?
7.
That may be an issue. So you want to check. Are they all 7 RENs?
I'm not sure what the total number REN is, but they're all 7. 7 phones. There's a fax machine, an answering machine.
Seven's not a problem, but there is a limit, I believe, of RENs.
Okay. Any other pitfalls or downfalls I should look at? Because otherwise it seems all up. It's going to cost me $200 to buy it all, and I'm saving $45 a month.
Yeah. Well, the limit is a couple. If the internet goes... So there's 2 things that can put your phone service out. Power outage and internet outage.
Same thing that I got now. No different.
And on Time Warner, that's the same. It's not the same if you go to I don't know what the Portland telco is.
Yeah, well...
Eastern Maine Telephone and Telegraph Company.
It's a company called Fairpoint that took over from... And just terrible.
Yeah, they're horrible. However, one of the things they do is good is that they power the line. So when the power goes out and the internet goes out, your phone on Fairport or Point or whatever it is still works. Your local plain old telephone service, that's what he was saying when he said POTS. He wasn't calling the kettle black. The local POTS service, your CLEC, will support an unpowered phone. And that for an emergency, especially because you get hurricanes up there and, you can get bad weather, bad snow. I tell my mom, she lives in Providence, same thing. Make sure you have one phone, and you can get Lifeline service. You get the cheapest service they offer. But that one phone could be your lifeline when the power and the internet are out. Otherwise, UMA is potentially even better quality, and on and on and on.
Sounds great. So, yeah, being that I'm on VoIP now, there's not going to be any change, and it's going to save a lot of money over a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm a fan of VoIP. I actually no longer buy POTS service at all because I have a cell phone. I'm already paying for that. What do I need POTS service for? What do I need a telephone line for? What I do to give me a quote landline. And by the way, if I have a heart attack, I'm dead because nobody's going to be able to. I'm going to call 911 and they're going to say, we don't know where you are, sir. So if I can't say the address, I'm in trouble. That's something you got to keep in mind. But what I use is something called an OBI from obihigh.com. And it's a funny little device that's free. Well, the device isn't. You buy the device for about $80, $70 or $80. And you connect it up to your internet and your Google Voice. And now I get free calling. There's no monthly, unlike UMA. So I really love the OBI. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Scott Wilkinson coming up. Scotty, when are you coming up to calibrate my TV?
Hey, anytime. I got an email from...
We're trying to book it so that, you can do a show about it or whatever you want to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm in touch with... who is it that called me or wrote me? Sharon, maybe? Let me see here.
Shannon,
yes, thank you.
Cell to phone service is not the same. See, the problem is that anyway.
So you got the TV?
Oh, yeah. I watched it all day yesterday. I could crash it. I can crash it at will. I know it'll crash
now how do you... I don't understand that. That's...
well, software.
Yeah, well, true, but...
So so they have a feature. There's a lot of features, and also it's acting a little flaky. Like when I first turn it on, maybe you can help me with this. When I first turn it on, it was controlling the Onkyo receiver, and when I turn up volume, it would turn up the receiver.
Right.
And then now it doesn't do that anymore, and it says no, you have external speakers. You got to do it yourself. And it supports AnyNet Plus, but that means you have to buy Samsung gear, which is a real. I don't want all Samsung.
Well,
gear.
that's sort of true.
Oh, there's some AnyNet capable
well,
stuff?
AnyNet Plus, I believe, I'd have to do a little research, but I believe it is Samsung's implementation of HDMI CEC, Consumer Electronics.
I think it's related to CEC, but it isn't CEC.
Right. Well, yeah, and so all these companies, Panasonic and Samsung and Sony and so on, have their own implementation of CEC.
All right.
And,
well, and that's
there are some basic CECs that they all support, CEC commands, but then
when I turn the TV on, it turns stuff on.
Yeah, exactly.
But the TV's flaky. It's flaky. It's like the software needs to be fixed, and that's not unexpected.
Yeah.
So, for instance, when I turn it on, I don't want it to. First, there's no way for me to say don't turn the cable box off, but do turn the receiver off. It turns off the cable box.
Yeah. Yeah, for that you need like a Logitech Harmony or a universal remote.
Well, no, it's got the greatest remote ever. It has a universal remote that's got touch pad. It's really, and I am in love with the remote. And it was working pretty universally, pretty easily.
Huh.
AnyNet works with your Chromecast. All right, so maybe I need to, the Chromecast might be is going through the Onkyo. I wonder if it's confusing. I don't know. Hold on, here we go.
Yep.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't want to work. Fortunately, this isn't work. This is fun. Scott Wilkinson is here. He's our home theater guru, the editor-in-chief at avsforum.com. He's also our host of the Home Theater Geek podcast on my twit.tv network every Monday. And it's his fault that I bought a $9,000 television set. You know, when you spend $9,000 on a television set, you expect something for your money, right?
You do.
This is the brand new. Actually, you saved me money because when we were at CES last year as well as this year, right? Mm-hmm. We saw these new OLED TVs. It stands for organic light emitting diode, but what it really is a little dot on the screen that glows with its own light.
Right.
Unlike
what's called self-emissive.
Unlike a LCD, which is a shutter to a backlight.
Correct.
It's more like a plasma. The plasma cells get stimulated, they glow.
Right. And they have phosphors like the old CRTs.
Like old CRTs. These are not, I don't know what these are. These are organic light emitting.
Yeah, I have to yet look into the technical depth of what an OLED
I have looked into
is.
it, and I still don't understand it. So there you go. So I've been reading and reading.
It's a material that when you hit it, you zap it with some electricity, it glows.
Yeah.
Red, blue, or white.
And so it's emissive, which means no backlight. It means it also, because no backlight means you can have perfect blacks.
Yep.
You've seen OLED because many phones have OLED screens. All the Samsung phones now have AMOLED screens.
Right.
Same technology.
Yep. But it's been used very, very effectively in small displays. But what we're just now seeing is it getting scaled up to larger displays.
It's the same reason. I mean, this happens all the time. They get better at making these with fewer flaws. And so at first they could only make, there were a lot of flaws in the panel, so they'd have cut out the little screen that worked. Now they can make bigger ones. So this is a 55-inch TV.
Right.
That's pretty pricey for 55. It's like 5 times more than, or 6 times more than you'd have to pay for good quality plasma.
That's right. And plasma is less expensive than LED, LCD.
Right.
By the way, when you mentioned this in the last segment, you were exactly correct, and I was so happy to hear you say LED illuminated LCD TV.
Yeah, people call me a lot and say, I'm going to buy an LED. No, you're not. You're going to buy an LCD with an LED backlight.
exactly.
So
Now,
so let me just I'm going to summarize because I spent the entire day watching it. It came on Thursday.
Yeah.
Set it up. It has a great remote control. Comes with 2 remotes. One kind of traditional remote and one with a touchpad on it. It's raised aluminum. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It glows. It's beautiful, tiny, and I loved it. But it took me a little while to learn how the whole thing worked. They actually have a tutorial when you first turn it on.
Right.
It is an unusual display in several respects. It's curved very slightly. Yep. It looks like it's more curved because it's floating in a frame that is more curved.
Right.
But the screen is slightly curved. And it's very thin because there's no electronics in it. You connect it to a external box.
Right, which has all the input-output connectors and all the video processing. Everything's in that external box, which means the screen itself can be extremely thin. It's probably a few millimeters thick.
It has a second advantage, and Samsung says they will do this from time to time. You can upgrade the box. What you're buying is essentially a panel, and the box, all the electronics are in the box. So the box is upgradable, upgrading the TV.
Even the hardware in the box is upgradable. You can get a new box for much less than
that's what I
for a
mean,
new
right?
TV. Yeah,
You
exactly.
just unplug the box, put a new one in, and you got new capabilities.
Samsung is by far in the forefront of all the companies for doing this.
It has some interesting stuff. It's got a camera on it, built-in Skype. It has gesture control, kind of like the Kinect. I turned that off immediately because I'm watching a TV show and I accidentally, I scratched my head and the TV says yes. It has voice control. You can talk. There's a microphone in the remote as well as in the screen. You can talk to the microphone in the remote. It's got motion control. It's very sophisticated. Of course, they put every little doohickey in it, but really, the point of all of this is the screen. Is it a good screen?
Yes.
And I'm going to have you come up and calibrate it and review it. And by the way, all the calibrating settings you would ever want are in there.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And I can't wait to do that. I mean, every time I've seen an OLED or OLED, as sometimes they call it, it just looks so great. The colors almost look a little garish, but that's on the showroom floor or the trade show floor.
Yeah, so immediately I went to the movie setting, and it definitely
good for you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is. Now, this is a regular HD TV. It's not an Ultra HD. It's not UHD.
Correct. It's 1080p, and we were talking about that in the chat room. Somebody thought it was going to be 4K or UHD, as we call it. And we did see a couple of 4K OLEDs at CES last year, but they were definitely prototypes from Panasonic and Sony. But the products that you're going to actually be able to buy now, which you can from Samsung and LG, are 1080p. They're normal, quote-unquote, standard high definition. And both of them, interestingly, LG and Samsung, have this slight curve to them. And both companies were asked, well, why did you make a curve? And Samsung said, well, it's in order to differentiate the TV from all the other flat panels out there. And my response to that is, well, yeah, okay, it differentiates it, but it really only makes for one perfect spot to watch the TV, which is right at the center of the curve, right in the middle of the curve. Leo, have you been watching it with anybody else? Have you been off to the side at all? How does it look when you're not directly center?
It's not a big curve, so it doesn't make any difference. It
doesn't make any big difference. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And the screen is so good off angle.
Yes.
It doesn't lose any brightness when you get off to the side.
Exactly. So. Unlike an LCD TV, LED illuminated or otherwise, which when you get off axis, it washes out. The blacks look funky. It just starts looking bad. OLED has this great capacity of being able to, you can go off 180 degrees off angle and you won't see much of the picture, but the colors and the blacks and the contrast will all stay the same. So it does work for a larger number of people. 55 inches is also not that big these days, which is another concern that a lot of people have because, everybody wants a bigger screen. And 55 inches is kind of a standard size these days. I mean, I was talking in the chat room a little while ago. Somebody wants to get a 70-inch TV. For not very much money. And you can do that these days, but the OLED isn't it. But if you want the ultimate in picture quality, OLED is probably the way to go. And I really can't wait to get up there and get my little fingers on that thing.
Well, it is easily the best picture I've ever seen. In fact,
exactly. Yeah.
In fact, I think it's as good as 4K. I'm a big 4K fan.
You are.
It's obviously not as many dots as 4K. It has the problem 4K has which shows defects very well. So it's, for instance, if you're watching 720p streaming, you're going to hate it. It looks soft and fuzzy. 1080p streaming's fine, and I was able to do that with my Apple TV. Vudu has an HDX format on its streaming
that probably looks pretty good.
Looks very good. That's both of those are 1080p. Netflix with some devices is 1080p, and you'll need that. You will not. You will really want to hook up a Blu-ray player to this.
Correct.
Even broadcast. I was watching the Niners game, and even broadcast. Well, here's a couple of things. First of all, you see far more errors in the shooting and jiggling and stuff. It's so crisp that stuff that wouldn't bother you on another TV, on another HD TV, really. And I have a very nice Panasonic Viera. Bigger one too, 65 inches. It does bother you? I also was watching movies, so I watched Scarface.
On Blu-ray?
No, I was watching the 1080p version from Apple TV.
Okay.
And it looks like video. It doesn't. It's so bright.
Well, you might also have motion interpolation on.
No, they don't do that on OLED TVs. They don't need to do that. Yeah, they don't need to do that, right? Because that's an LCD thing.
It is an LCD thing, but OLED, as far as I know, behaves in the same way, and we'll have to talk about that another time.
I'll have to look. Thank you, Scott Wilkinson. AVSforum.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls right after this. All yours, Scotty.
Thank you. By the way, OLED, as far as I know, uses the same type of display technology called sample and hold, which means it puts the image on the screen and it holds it there until the next frame comes by.
Well, it is 60p. So I'm wondering, I mean, when I fire up these inputs, it says 1080, 1920 by 1080, 60p.
Right. That's probably telling you what's coming in, what the input signal is.
Not what it's doing with it.
But
if it's 60p, well, all right, I could.
If it'll only do 60, in other words, if the OLED's refresh rate is 60 hertz, then it is not doing frame interpolation. But if it's 120 or 240 hertz, then it is. And I've not yet seen a review that tells me that piece of information. So that's one of the first things I'll look at when I get up there is, does it have a faster refresh rate, which it should be able to easily do because OLEDs, they can change their state. Unlike LCDs, which change their state in milliseconds, OLEDs can change their state in microseconds. Yeah,
that's basically zero response time.
Yeah, zero response time.
They have a game mode, and I'm not sure what it does because it's not clear.
It probably disables much of the video processing to improve what's called input lag.
Yes, that's the upshot of it. It says it reduces input lag but may reduce quality.
Exactly, because gamers obviously don't want input lag. They don't want to feel a time between.
I looked through all the settings. I didn't see anything but sometimes they name these things funny.
In the Samsung, it would be called Auto Motion Plus.
There's nothing like that.
If there's no parameter called that,
no setting like that,
then it probably doesn't do frame interpolation.
I think it's just that you're seeing more detail than you see normally. Because then we watched The House at the End of the Pines, which is a very modern and a lot of dark stuff in it. Boy, the blacks are spectacular.
Yeah.
And I feel like the quality is very, very good, but it looks a little hyper real. So maybe there is something going on. It could be this whole
sample and hold thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to.
If that's the case, that's a defect. If you can't turn, that's a defect of OLEDs.
Well, not of OLED necessarily, but of the way they implemented it. If you can't turn off sample and hold.
You're our new intern? Welcome.
Oh, so you've just pulled up something here. Why do some OLEDs have motion blur? I see that on my little Skype screen, but I can't really read it.
Yeah. So it says it's talking about sample and hold.
Right.
Every instant pixel, even instant pixel response can have lots of motion blur. I didn't see motion blur. In fact, the football game looked quite crisp.
Oh, well, that's a very good test right there.
Yeah, and one of the I'm going to have you look at it because maybe I'm not seeing.
Now, is the TV at the studio or at your home?
No, it's at home.
Well, that's where you want to.
I think it's sample and hold. This sounds like it could be it. I did not hook up the PS3 yet. Shorten the amount of time a frame is displayed. Extra high refreshes. Short frame. I don't know what they're doing. I'm very curious what they're doing. It looks really good, and where
I'm sure.
I mean, the blacks are perfect. The whites are perfect.
Yep. Dr. Mom is right. I'll bet when the set is properly calibrated, at least part of that hyperreal effect will go away.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo's the number. I didn't get a chance really to talk about my review of the OLED screen, but I'll hold that for later. I'm going to do a full review on one of our shows on Tuesday. It's the best picture I've ever seen. But there is this issue, and I want to find more about this issue of this hyper real look. It doesn't. So I'm watching Scarface, which is shot in the 80s. On film. It doesn't look like it's film. It looks very much like video. And a few scenes, I watched a more recent movie from The House Behind the Pines, looked like they were video, and a few didn't. So I need to hook up the Blu-ray player and take a look at that. I have to say, spectacular screen. And I think really the same issue people had when they first got high-def televisions is going to hold for this, is that you're going to see defects you didn't see on your old high-def television all of a sudden. Is it time to buy now? No, not at $9,000. But the good news is the prices are already dropping. LG's was $15,000. And Samsung stunned everybody by saying, hey, we can make them cheaper because of improvements in technology. This is what happens. We can make them at $9,000. If they sell enough at $9,000, technology will improve more. Prices will continue to drop. It will just be a matter of a year or two, in my opinion, before these get into a more affordable sub $5,000, maybe even sub $4,000 range. When they do, then I think everybody's going to be wondering, well, is it worth getting? By then, we should have some more information about the stability of these as well, because that was always one concern about OLED screens, is that the blues in particular would fade over time. Early OLEDs did have that problem. They may have licked that now, though. Sure looks good. Wish you could come over to my place and see it. Let's get back to the... Scott will be, I can guarantee you. Scott, let's get back to the phones. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Stephen, I'm sorry, not Stephen. Jim in Tallahassee, Florida. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jim.
You can't get the app?
Hey, Jim.
I can get the app. I can't get the extension.
Hey, Jim, you're on. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. Bye, Jim.
Now is it yet, so...
There's Jim. Hi, Jim.
Hey. I guess I'll do the obligatory thing and tell you I've been watching you since the days when I had to go over to my parents' house and watch you on DirecTV of ZDTV.
Aww.
So I will not admit to how old that makes me.
Well, if it makes you old, think how old I feel.
Okay, well, I'll give you that one.
That was 1998 to 2004. We had a lot of fun doing that, but we've kind of recreated it over time here at the Brick House Studios, slowly building up to 30 different shows. We do more shows now than Tech TV ever did. So
I watch as many of them as I can fit in when I'm not doing something else on the 2 or 3 computers I have sitting on my desk.
So what can I do for you today?
Well, I was just going to give you a bit of information. The meaning of OLED is organic LED.
Yeah, that's what I said. Organic light emitting diode. Yep.
I guess I wasn't listening that hard. Anyway, the question I have is I am looking for your suggestion for a replacement, hopefully one that is a little bit more attentive and programmable. Like when you go into Windows Explorer and look for a particular text string, and it will bring up the text string from the file name, from the folder name, from the description, et cetera, et cetera. I was looking for a program that would allow you to look like, all right, just look under the folder name. I want to find all the folders that have a name of, like, I was looking for clip art. And I put in clip, and I got like 78 different versions of different clips from, like, the file name and everything else. So is there a program that is like Windows Explorer but allows you to tweak it a bit more so you don't have all the other hoo-ha that comes with it?
You kind of want something like the old, he says you're an old timer, you might remember Norton Commander and other programs like that. I think the easiest thing to do is probably to use search. The search on Windows is very capable, and you can search for portions of file names and so forth. There are, of course, like Norton Commander, third-party file viewers. That's all Explorer is, right? Is it just a way of looking at files? Chat room says they like one called Everything Search Engine. And it's free for Windows. It doesn't say Windows 8, but I'd be surprised if it doesn't work on Windows 8. It's from voidtools.com. I haven't used it. I just, here's another one, Total Commander. This would be very much like Norton Commander. People still, it's very interesting, have a lot of nostalgia for Norton Commander. I don't know why. Ghisler, gheisler.com. Total Commander is a shareware file manager. 2 file windows side by side, quick view panel. You'd think Microsoft would take a look at stuff like this and start to put in features like this. But there's a couple. Tell you what we can do. Here's a website to keep in mind. TechGuyLabs.com. That's my website. And once we get a question, James DeRuvo's writing as I speak, and he's putting up kind of a thumbnail of the question and my answer. He'll have links to those two, Total Commander and the others. Everything search. But then after the show, we get audio and video up from the show. Josh does that. And then there's a comment section as well. So if you've got a favorite file viewing tool, a Norton Commander equivalent for Windows 7 or Windows 8, why don't you add it to the list? Then we'll have we'll have a pretty good list. Lewis in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Lewis. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, Leo. I've got a correction and then my question.
All righty.
The correction is about needing a landline for your security system. In about 20 seconds from outside your house, I can disconnect your landline and you will no longer have access to the security system. It just stops your monitoring completely.
Yeah, that's what the bad guys do in the movies. They cut the landline.
Well, you don't have to cut it. It's very simple to do. I won't describe how to do it. But the alternative that people are using now is wireless monitoring, which uses the cell towers. So I just thought I would mention that.
That's good to know. Yeah, it's been a while since I had a burglar alarm. In the old place, we had a burglar alarm. We had to have a phone system. But we use wireless monitoring here. My studio manager is saying, as a backup. So we have phone, landline is primary, and then cell as a backup. That's a good way to do it. So if the cell's out, the phone might work. If the phone's out, the cell might work. So lo and behold, my staff is smarter than I am.
That's disgusting, isn't it?
No, it's good.
I don't think it's true, though.
It's a relief. I'm glad they know what they're doing.
Well, the question is, I, at your recommendation, bought a new computer. It's a Sony Duo Vio, and it has a SSD, 256 gigabyte.
Awesome.
SSD.
Awesome.
And so what my question is, would I gain anything, or would it just be problems if I would partition that drive so I have a separate drive for data and a separate drive for the operating system?
Well, I often recommend doing that, having a separate data drive, and it could be a physical drive, or as in your case, because you only have one drive in that laptop, partitioning, that is making a single physical drive look like two drives. The advantage, of course, is that Windows and the apps are on, let's say, drive C. That's pretty typical. If you want to reinstall Windows, it's just a matter of nuking drive C and putting Windows back on, and it doesn't touch the D drive, your data drive. Your data's intact, and so there's no issue about it accidentally getting erased and so forth. I think that's a good idea. Also, it turns out that fragmentation tends to happen on the D drive more than it does on the C drive, because you're not deleting and erasing programs as often as you are deleting and restoring documents. So I like that idea. Now, on a solid-state drive, it's a little bit less important. Fragmentation doesn't happen at all.
Yeah.
And how big is it? 256? Is that what you said?
56, yeah.
The risk on that, because it's such a small drive, I know, isn't it hard to believe? 256 gigs, small, is that
512, but it wasn't available. In
256 is plenty, but it's just making the judgment ahead of time how much should C be and how much should D be, and it's kind of a pain if you misjudge and run out of room on one and have plenty of room on the other. We get a lot of calls from people saying, you know, I got my computer came with a C and a D drive, and the C drive is just full, and there's so much room on the D drive, and how am I supposed to solve this problem? So I think there's so much speed on a solid state drive, and fragmentation doesn't become an issue at all. I don't think you need to do this. You could, it would be harmless. The only risk is, you know, you may make a mistake in the proportions of the two drives and regret it down the road. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Tech, what's my name? Tech guy. So, Nathan, is it Nathan? Are you there? I'm thinking it's not Nathan. Who's running the board? Is it Nathan? Hi. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Did I haven't? Oh, that's what happened. It was so quiet. I haven't heard a thing you've said. There we go. That's why I thought it wasn't you. So did I miss an ad there? Good. Yeah, usually I wasn't too worried, because usually on a holiday weekend it's not a big deal. Okie doke. I will. Whatever it is, press that button hard. Or I thought it's awfully quiet. It can't be Nathan. Somebody else is there. All right, thank you, sir. We'll let Scotty take over here.
I'm happy to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here for another few minutes with you. Been having a lot of chat in the chat room about AutoMotion Plus. I'll see if I can go back and find out who it was. Somebody, oh yeah, here, Scooter X said that they were reading the manual for the OLED and pointed me to a link, and I looked it up. And that manual is kind of weird because it doesn't say what model it applies to. It has a little space on the cover page for you to write in the model of the TV you have. And that manual does have AutoMotion Plus, but it also refers to LED Motion Plus, which is another parameter in Samsung TVs that refers to LED illuminated LCD TVs. So I'm not at all sure that that manual is in fact the right one for the OLED. Lars says, what do you have to feed an OLED? Well, anything it wants, I suppose. For $9,000, you better give it whatever the heck it wants. Scooter X, I'm not sure that manual you linked me to is in fact the one for the OLED. I just don't know because it didn't say. Nick7 was asking about frame interpolation, which is Samsung calls it AutoMotion Plus, on his LG TV, and he said that always when he displays what's happening on the TV, it says 1080p 60, and he wondered about that. And like Leo had mentioned also that when he displays what the TV is displaying, it says 1080p 60. That is the frame rate coming in That's the characteristic of the input signal, not of how the TV is displaying it. So in the case of the LG, it's actually up converting or multiplying that by 4 and going up to 240 hertz. And either increasing the number of frames by frame interpolation, including generating new frames in between the existing frames, which smooths out and clears up the motion, but it also creates this side effect called the soap opera effect, which some people really hate because it makes it look more like video than film. It's particularly egregious when you're watching a movie whose frame rate is 24 frames per second. Anyway, and then somebody else in the chat room asked me, what should the setting be for frame interpolation? And that depends on your tolerance for this soap opera effect. If it really bothers you, and it bothers a lot of people, then turn auto motion plus off, or at least to the low setting. But if it doesn't bother you that much, and you like the greater sharpness and detail in things that are moving around in the picture, then turn it up higher. It's totally a personal preference kind of a thing. So let's see. I'm looking down the chat room here. Dr. Mom, Lashana Tova, to you. Yes, the Jewish New Year is coming right up. September 4th in the evening starts Rosh Hashanah. The 5th, I will be blowing the shofar for the first time. And then Friday night, the 13th, will be the start of Yom Kippur. And I'll be blowing the shofar a bunch then at our big Kol Nidra celebration. Chip CDM is asking, why are the bottom of components like cheese graters, they wreck shelves? Well, yes, they do. And presumably the better components have little rubber feet that lift that cheese grater bottom off the shelf a little bit. And I think the reason that it's there, I mentioned this in the chat room, is that they're actually holes. I don't know why it's a cheese grater effect. Maybe it's just a byproduct of how it's manufactured. But I think that they manufacture the bottom plate of components with holes in it. And the reason for that is to draw air in from the bottom, cooler air in from the bottom by convection. And it then travels up through the device and keeps the electronics cool. And if there's no space between those holes and the bottom and the top of the shelf, the surface of the shelf, then it's not going to work very well. So if a component doesn't have rubber feet that lifts that bottom plate off the shelf a little bit.
Hey, just excuse me for a second. Hey, Nathan, I don't hear any audio back. So when you fixed the patch, it might have cut the return audio. I don't hear the music coming back. Nathan. Oh, Nathan. Oh, Nathan.
Oh,
right, well,
Nathan.
We won't worry about it for another 3 minutes.
Hopefully it will get solved. Can I move on here? Please feel free to interrupt me anytime.
Hey, Nathan. Is it a button that I need to push?
No.
Am I right here? Yes. And I see, I'm just not getting return. I see receive is fine, and we're connected. When he changed the patch so he could hear me, we weren't hearing audio. Yeah, we better solve this.
I should say so.
So I'm looking at this manual that somebody in the chat room sent me for
the OLED?
Well, I don't know if it's for the OLED.
I don't either. I got that same link and I looked at it, and it didn't say it's a TV. On the first page it says write in your model number here.
Yeah.
We're not getting any audio from you. We're not getting any music from you.
It looks like it's the right man. It's not the manual I got. There we go. Thank you, Nathan.
There it is.
That fixed it.
So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like it's the right TV, but it doesn't say what model it is. So,
if it is, is it possible to turn down the music? Thank you. If it is the right manual, your TV does have Auto Motion Plus, which means frame interpolation, which means it's going to look more like video, especially movies.
This is the screen that I can crash every single crash the TV every single time I go to edit channel, it crashes it.
Oh,
you didn't really give
really?
me a chance to talk about the TV. I'll do that, I guess, another time. But
Anyway, yeah, if it has AutoMotion Plus, then that's probably what you're thinking. What's doing what you perceive as making it look video-like.
all right, thanks, Scott.
You bet. My pleasure.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, OLED TVs, anything you got your mind on. We'd love to talk about it. If it's got a chip in it, hey, that's perfect for this show. 888-827-5536. That's the phone number. 8888 Ask Leo. If you've got a question, a comment, a suggestion, something you'd like to know. Moving to the next call, which, if I press all my buttons properly, is Mike in San Antonio, Texas. Hi, Mike. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, it's an honor to talk to you. I got to say, I feel like I've accomplished something amazing just reaching you on the phone.
It is an accomplishment. It is not easy. I know. We got a lot of people calling, so I'm glad you got in. Thank you.
Me too. So I've been listening to your whole podcast network for probably 2 years or so. I was never really that much into technology until about 3.5 years ago when I actually went blind. And once I learned how much technology can increase quality of life for blind people, I became infatuated with it.
Boy, that must be a challenge to go from sighted to blind. Boy, you have my.
It's really not. It's kind of nice because, like I said, I've been able to learn all sorts of new things because of it.
Well, you have a great attitude. That's great.
It helps. Definitely helps.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, it's certainly you're going to learn new things.
Yeah, absolutely. And so because of all this that happened, I actually started a podcast, which is what my question has to deal with.
Okay.
I use WordPress to manage the website, and it has that one RSS feed that I've been using. Is it possible, and I know this is probably more than just the general user of WordPress can handle, is it possible to set up more than one RSS feed?
Yes, it is. Are you using WordPress.com or are you using a self-installed WordPress?
It's self-installed.
Oh, good news. There are a number of podcasting plugins people use. PodPress is probably the most best known. It hasn't been updated since March, but that's at least relatively recent compared to some plugins. It'll allow you to do it's made for podcasters using WordPress. So it allows you to do a variety of feeds. It'll generate the feeds for you. It gives you stats, unlimited media files. It's exactly what you need. You've been using the built-in RSS, the built-in feed capability of WordPress, but you want to do more, right? PodPress.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you just go to the plugin directory at wordpress.org, or you could even look for WordPress space pod, PODPRESS. This is what a lot of podcasters use, and it really simplifies the process of publishing. Your life will change.
Awesome. And now one other quick question. Is there an easy way, because usually I have anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 other co-hosts on the show.
Yeah.
Is there a software solution that I can have a way to mute them? Because we have a couple that really love to talk.
Oh, Lord, if ever there is one, I'd like to know about it myself. Yeah, well, use a mixer. That's how we do it.
How would you do that if I've got 2 computers? If I have 2 computers.
So you and your co-hosts, are they coming in via Skype or are they in studio with you? Skype. So, yeah, I mean, there's no easy way to do this. One of the reasons that we... In fact, that probably, if you say, sometimes people say, oh, yes, Leo decided to build an empire with 30 podcasts. No, really what happened was I wanted to mute some of those other hosts. So I had to build some gear, and then I had to build some more gear, and I had to build some more gear for that. And then pretty soon I've got a 10,000 square foot studio, staff of 25, and a multi-million-dollar investment. So be careful.
I started just on YouTube, and now I've got a lot more going on.
So here's what we did to solve that. We built my engineer, who I adore, Colleen. She's no longer with us, but she invented a lot of stuff. She built something called Skypeosaurus to solve this problem. And she basically, it was a machine and a Skype instance for each person, separate.
Okay.
Now, this means spending money, okay? So, but we did it cheap with cheap netbook, quality hardware with Atom processors. And we had 4 machines, 4 monitors, because I was doing video. This is not a problem for you, thank goodness. Don't go into video or you'll never get out of it. Then
I had somebody ask me just the other day, and I told them no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like getting dressed.
It's just then your troubles multiply. But so by doing that, then each Skype and each computer comes in on. Then you need a mixer, a separate channel for each of those, and they have to have mix minus, because you don't want to feed back the audio of the caller to the caller. You only want him to hear everybody else. So you send him what's called, in the trade, in the parlance, mix minus. That is all of the stuff minus him. And a good mixer will do that. I was using an analog Mackie mixer to do that. And then you can that's the radio term. You can turn down anybody you want.
Awesome.
One by one. Yeah, but I mean, now you've bought 4 machines and a mixer. And by the way, it's just beginning. My friends at Telos saw me going crazy, tearing my hair out trying to do mix minus, and they said, you need a better mixer that does it automatically. So now I have an Axia, which is a very high-end radio style board that does automatic mix minus. Well, you've got the Axia. Now you need to, I mean, it's never ending. Never ending.
Well,
but if you like gear, it's a good excuse to spend all your money.
Awesome.
Hey, good luck. I think what's the name of the show?
It's called How to Be Blind, because it's all about blind people using technology and tutorials and things like that.
That's
it's at htb2.com.
HTB2, How to Be Blind.
Be blind, the number 2.
B squared, right. Yeah, right.
And you said earlier there's not lots of listeners, but yet you managed to crash every website that someone says. So
I kind of was misrepresenting it. There are a few listeners. We crashed Google last week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You weren't here for that, Heather. You missed that. Yeah, we crashed Google. We were. I was showing my friend. We could do it again. There are so many people listening to this show that we could crash the Google. So we were talking about, there's my friend Veronica Belmont did a spreadsheet on different set-top boxes, Roku, Apple TV, WDTV, all the different boxes you can attach to a TV to give it smart TV capability. And it's so complicated. So she made a site, and I can send it to it, and we'll see if it breaks it again. It probably won't this time. bit.ly/settop, SETTOP. That's a shortener that'll take you to a Google spreadsheet that shows you all the different products and what they can do, what channels they get. It's really useful when you're out there saying, well, should I buy an Apple? Oh, it's down again. Should I buy an Apple? Oh, my gosh. Stop it, you guys. Should I buy an Apple TV? It can't load. Should I buy an Apple TV or should I buy a Roku box? Or, what should I buy? Boxy box? What should I buy? It's down again.
So you're sending everybody to a Google Doc?
Yeah, you'd think Google could handle it.
Interesting.
Google Drive is saying, we're sorry, you've sent too many requests to us recently. Please try again later.
Is the presumption that Google Docs will share fewer?
It's something to do with Google
like
Docs. You'd think Google Docs
six people or an office.
Yeah, apparently Google Docs can't handle it. We broke it again. So, no, there's not many people listening, but the people who are very aggressive. I don't know. It's almost 200 stations that are listening. So what is that? I mean, that's 500,000 people. I don't know, 1 million people. It's a lot of people. Sorry to burst your bubble. Don't be shy. It's okay. It's okay, Julian in Los Angeles. It's just you and me.
Okay, just me and you and a few million
others.
Okay.
A few geeks.
No problem.
Whatever it takes to crash Google, that's how many people.
Absolutely. I'm always comfortable in a geek gathering, so that's great.
Yeah, it's among friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the deal.
So here's the deal. I have a Google Nexus 4. It's a great phone, but there are 3 things about it that I'm not happy with, and I am looking for other replacements. I'm not happy with the speaker on it. It doesn't have a lot.
Actually, hang on. We got to take a break. But make your list. Check it twice. When we come back, things I hate about the Nexus 4. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, at least Obama's going to get congressional authorization before he launches another war. That's good news. That's good news. Your government wisely declined.
Yeah, that was a shock,
It is a shock. That's because you don't have Tony Blair in there anymore. He was our little puppet for a while.
It was quite a big hoo-ha in the UK when they announced that nothing was happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have mixed feelings. Obviously, it's a humanitarian nightmare in Syria. So I have mixed feelings about it. But, geez, I think
the problem the UK's got is because of the defence spending cuts, the Army and Air Force and the Navy are even smaller than they were.
Right. Typically, what it really is showing allied support, right? So, well, the U.S. is going to go in, so we'll just all, the axis of evil versus the band of brothers or whatever W called it. The UK was one of the few major nations that supported the Iraq War. The Iraq War. Oh, yeah. But that was Tony Blair was just, says, whatever you want, U.S., Makes me sad. I mean, certainly 100,000 innocent civilians have died in Syria. I mean, it's a horrid situation there. And chemical warfare is, of course, a really scary thing.
Have I got time to grab a glass of water?
You can get up and down and walk around anytime. You don't have to wait for a break. No, you're never in the way. Make yourself comfortable.
I'm getting too comfortable. I only got here yesterday.
Enjoy. Oh, you're tired, then you're still jet lagged. That's all right. Relax. You do? Yeah. Oh. I could do that, Chrome. I could do that. Nice big hill behind the house. So only 50 people can use that spreadsheet. That's the problem. I am Nathan. You mean when? I'm hearing it now, yeah. It went away earlier. But it's there now. I hear you and the music. Oh, this was always a problem with people coming in our studio. Messing stuff up over the week. Ugh. What do they even have a patch bay for? That's like 1950s. A patch? Like with cables, with cords? Holy cow. Oh, number please. Oh, hello, Andy. I'll be glad to connect you to Andy B. Now, you just hold on a minute. Hello, Andy B. Andy's on the line. Jeez. Oh, Lord. That makes me want to start listening to No Agenda. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it's gotten.
I sent you an email to Leoville.
Yes.
Subject is RNX. I just now sent it. And it is a picture of where I worked from 1984 to 1989 at KNX AM.
Oh, neat.
Awesome setup. And prominent in the picture is
Patch Bay.
although it's a very tiny picture. That's not me, but that's where I worked and loved working there.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The studio technicians back in Sherman Oaks are pushing the buttons and connecting the patch cables to bring you this broadcast program. It looks like, I think that's Google right there. That's So I found out our chat room is very smart, and they said, you know, it turns out you can only have 50 people at a time use a Google spreadsheet. So it isn't really the issue. It's
that number needs to go
50's
up.
a little low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Veronica didn't expect so many people to be using this amazing spreadsheet. She should have put it, you know, we should put this now on a
Right, but
website.
wouldn't they like for corporations to start using Google Docs?
Yes, they would, but this is the free version, and they want you to use Google Apps. And I would guess apps have a higher...
We're talking freemium.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
As Brain in the chat room says, it plays into my megalomania to think that I've crashed Google. It just plays right into that. I am master of the universe.
Well played.
President of the internet. So we were talking to Julian in Los Angeles. He has a Nexus 4, which is the official Google phone. Google dropped the price $100 just this week. And it's a lovely little pure Google experience phone, not really state-of-the-art even when it came out. And one of the things people complain about is the screen. But give me your 4 negatives here.
Okay. Well, just so you know, my main criterion for a device is that it has to run pure Google.
Pure Google. I'm a loving of the pure Google.
I am too, and especially for accessibility reasons, it's the only way to go.
Well, and I also think that Android has gotten so good that you don't really need any more to modify it. This was the excuse that Motorola. I talked to the guy who invented Motorola's Blur, the worst name ever. But like TouchWiz, HTC Sense, all the manufacturers have their own skin they put on top of Android. And he said we had to do it back in the days of 2.3.3 because it was so buggy and broken and it wasn't a good user experience. I think with current versions of Jelly Bean, it is a great user experience. I agree with you.
Yeah. So the main thing is I need a good speaker, something with a robust output, which the Nexus 4 doesn't do very well.
Yep.
I need it to work best with T-Mobile's network because that's what I'm on.
I love T-Mobile. Yep.
Yeah, and if possible, I'd like the ability to change batteries and memory cards. And all
I can do all of the things you want except for that.
Right. So
the HTC One Google Experience phone, which Google is selling directly, so that means it's a pure Google experience, has the best speakers in the business. It has dual front-facing speakers, which mean that they call it boom sound. Boom! Yeah. And I don't know why more phones don't do this, because that's where you're listening is in front. So most phones, they have a little port in the back, and it's coming out of the back in mono. So no better speakers for a phone. It also is pure experience, but not removable battery.
Right. So one of my main things is, do those phones, the HTC One and the GS4 Google Play, will they get the same exact updates that the Nexus gets in terms of when you get them right away?
No. So the difference is the Nexus is it's truly pure Google. Google has told us that both, so they're selling these, the Galaxy S4 and the HTC One, but that the company that makes the phone will have to give you the update. Of the two, more likely that HTC will. In fact, they've already pushed out 4.3. So I think that the HTC is a safe bet there. It's unknown on the Galaxy S4. And I have to tell you, the Galaxy S4 does have removable batteries. That's very nice.
Yes.
But it does not have a great speaker. It's one of those little ports in the back.
Yeah.
It's loud.
I've tested it. It's definitely more robust than the Nexus.
Yeah, and it's loud, which is nice. I think one thing to consider is maybe the HTC One and get an external battery pack. You can, by the way, the HTC One, if you tweak it, has very good battery life.
Yeah. So you think even with the pure Google, you still have to do tweaks to it to make it work?
I have not done a pure Google. I have the AT&T version of the HTC One. Okay. But what I did promptly is root it to give me a full administrator access. And then I put a little program on there called Greenify that lets me tell apps, you can't wake up. The problem with the real battery life issue on Android, and it's true actually on all smartphones, is programs that wake up when the phone is off to get the mail or update themselves. And too many programs do that, the phone never gets to sleep and the battery goes real quick. Right. So programs like Greenify, there's this, Qualcomm makes one for Snapdragons, which would work on your HTC One. What these do is they watch for those programs and they hibernate them. They say, don't wake up. You cannot wake up until the screen is on. And truthfully, that's fine. I don't want Facebook to check every 5 minutes to see if there's an update for my friends. I really don't want that. And Facebook is a nasty battery drain. Even if you say don't update, Facebook still updates. So that's a good one to hibernate. And if you want to see the updates, you launch the Facebook app. That's when you want to see it, and it updates then. That's fine. So, yes, I think you can get battery life up to about 14 or 15 hours on the HTC One with care.
Okay, that's not bad.
And you're saying you're blind?
Partially, yeah.
So you probably don't use the screen that much anyway. The screen is the big drain.
One of I always look for a screen dimming program.
Yeah.
I use one called Screen Filter that basically makes the screen dark.
Turn it all the way down. There's a great one called Lux, Lux, that lets you set different conditions for brightness, and you can just say always be at sub-zero.
Right.
Because you don't care. You don't care. That will save you. Yeah, you'll get great battery life. And then just carry around one of those little chargers. I carry one around. Anker, Anker, makes some good ones.
Right. But in terms of the frequency range that it covers, when I was looking at Google Play, it looks like it doesn't support as many of the bands on the...
Well, you're on T-Mobile, so the only issue is LTE on T-Mobile.
Right.
Which you, I bet, don't even have.
Right.
It's not in very many markets. It supports, what you want it to support is HSPA+,
right,
which it does. And that is probably as fast anyway as LTE in most cases because nobody's using T-Mobile. That's changing, by the way. They're growing. I'm really upset. They've this new uncarrier plan that T-Mobile's doing where it's month to month and is such a success. People are jumping on it that all of a sudden T-Mobile's growing fast. And so our little secret, our secret carrier that is rapidly being discovered. But that's to me, if you're a purist, a Google Experience phone on T-Mobile, that's telephone heaven.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
that's what I like.
I'm with you on that. So my recommendation, I think, for 2 out of the 3 things you need is the HTC One. It is a beautiful phone. It has a very nice camera. You may not care about that.
Actually, it is important for things like OCR and image recognition, which I can use.
Okay.
So the camera does matter.
Excellent camera for OCR. And I think that the Galaxy S4 is a very good phone. Its speaker is loud enough to probably be adequate for you. And I'm sure that they'll update it relatively promptly. It's a lot easier on a Google. The reason it's so long to get Android updates on some phones is because of the carrier modifications. They have to get the new version of Android, then test it and modify all their apps, and then push it out. And that can take a while. But a pure Google Experience phone, there's nothing to test. They have to test it with the hardware. Generally, that's pretty straightforward. It shouldn't be too long. HTC is absolutely updating just as quickly as the Nexus is.
Okay. That's what's important.
Yeah. Hey, nice to talk to you, Julian.
Thanks.
Take care.
Take care.
8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The Moto X, another great choice. Not yet for sale on Google, but will be soon, I think. Google owns Motorola, so that one I'm sure will be updated fairly frequently. There's some good stuff coming out. And next week, the Note 3 from Samsung. And then in a couple of weeks, a new iPhone. It's going to be a fun time. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. T-Mobile, they told me it's truly unlimited. If it's throttled, it's after 5 gigs. I have not seen any throttling yet. So, what are my cell phones and why? Asks old geezer. All of them, and because it's my job. My day-to-day right now is the HTC One. This is an AT&T version, which I've hacked for an updated Sense ROM, and I very much like it. The Galaxy S4 I lent to Ayaz. I was less enamored of that, mostly because the camera crashed a little too often or hung a little too often. I have a Nexus 4 at home, which I really do like quite a bit, but I've never liked the screen on the Nexus 4 much. It's dim and washed out, and I'm afraid it's just not kept up with state of the art. But it's a very nice phone. It's a little bulky. Frankly, I'm excited about the Moto X. My Moto X should come this week.
Johnny, I think, is available.
Oh, Johnny Jet. And I think that's because it's a very clean Google experience. Yes, dear.
Ayaz is actually going to get the S4 because of the camera quality.
He liked the S4.
Yeah, so we went to go
So I'll be curious to see if it's just that S4 that the camera crashes on all the time.
That was the thing. Like the pictures he got.
Oh, it's the best camera, especially in bright light.
Yeah, because like we've seen pictures of his kids.
Oh, it's the crispest camera, easily. Yeah. It's 13 megapixels. A very good camera, yeah. Johnny, turn off your video, Johnny. I can already see you're stuttering a little bit, so we don't need to.
Right.
We don't want to see you. You're still really in Toronto. Don't. I know what the lamp looks like above your head.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I've been sick. I'm still sick.
Johnny, you get sick more than anybody, and I think this is because you go in airplanes.
Yeah.
I've been sick. This is my 3rd time in 9 months.
Yeah, because you go on airplanes.
And I usually don't get sick. But
yes, you do. You get sick all the time, as long as I've known you.
Oh, my God.
You're a sick person. No, I think you're young and virile and healthy, but you go on airplanes where if one person is sick, you're breathing their air.
He's just in contact with way too
It's
many
not
other
from
people.
that. It's from letting my guard down.
You
and
don't
not
sleep
looking
enough.
down the areas. No, I do sleep enough.
You're burning the candle at both ends.
Now I just got a fat lip out of nowhere. You would think it would be from my wife because I just got her sick, but it's not.
Okay, Dr. Mom says you need to start wearing a mask when you fly.
I have a mask right here. Actually, I was supposed to fly. I was supposed to fly today, and I was going to wear my mask. But Natalie's so sick, we're not flying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that's
what do you
why
want to talk about today? Did you send me an email?
I sent you an email
3 minutes ago.
30 seconds ago.
See, I don't read my emails while I'm on the air, you know.
I know. Okay. I sent you an email yesterday saying that I might not be able to do it today, and didn't get anything.
I don't even read my email yesterday. I read it in a week.
Right.
Let me search for Johnny.
I'm gonna send you next week's.
I don't read email. You gotta understand. I get a lot of email. All right, links for today. I just got it. Yep.
Let me know if you like them. I think the map one you're gonna love, and we can spend most of the time on that. It's really fascinating, and I just sent it to the chat room to see what they thought.
Thank you. Awesome. 40 maps that will help you make sense of the world. Travel app of the week. You're good.
All right, I'm taking my shirt off since I'm not on video.
Take it off.
Hot as can be in here.
Are you burning up in Toronto?
Yeah.
See, he's got a fever.
Johnny fever.
But let us, during the commercial break, see him without his shirt on.
Somebody has a fan. Somebody has a little fan.
It could be all right, you know.
I bet you Johnny's ripped.
No, man, I've not been to the gym in a while.
You're doing hotel room crunches.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Johnny Jet's here. He's our travel guy, and he's a little under the weather.
Yes, I am.
Johnny, have you ever tried like those
Airborne?
Airborne, yeah, those supplements, the zinc supplements, anything like that? Does that work?
You know, I don't really. I used to. The problem was I was babysitting my nephew last week, and he was sick.
He got you sick. Because it feels like, I mean, every time I go on a flight, I feel like I get a cold. Because they recirculate the air. They're not, isn't it like
You're not getting it from the air.
Oh.
The reason why you're getting sick, those air filters are usually cleaner than hospitals' air filters.
Okay.
You're getting it from people who were sick, who sat there before you, blew their hand in their nose, and then touch the seat back. So you should use antibacterial wipes to wipe it down and keep your fingers away from your mouth, face, your eyes, nose.
Do they allow you when you get on a plane to spray the seat down with Lysol? Are you allowed?
I've never seen that, but I wipe it down all the time with antibacterial. But
that's a good idea. So you bring wipes and you wipe the handles of the seat.
Everything, the seatbelt, the overhead compartment handle is the most germy.
I'm wearing rubber gloves next time I get on a plane.
You gotta.
But my mom, my mom's 80, and I love her dearly. And every time she flies out here, she has to add a week to her trip because she's going to get sick coming out here.
Well, you also need to do the hotel rooms and the car rentals, by the way, not just the airline seat. The hotel remote control is the dirtiest thing in the room.
Oh, I didn't.
And you don't even want to know where that's been.
Oh, golly. Okay, let's talk about something else.
All right.
Travel can make you sick. Yes, I like this first one. Maps. 40 of them that will help you make sense of the world. This is from
it's very fascinating.
The Twisted Sifter website.
So I never heard of this website, but I saw this on Twitter going, pretty viral last week.
I saw the one that says the countries that don't use the metric system.
It's interesting, right?
It's the U.S.,
Africa, Thailand, whatever the little, I think Gabon or something.
A little country in Africa. It's not a lot of us. There's basically 3 in the world.
Yeah. It's shocking.
Well, I don't care. You could take my feet and inches and miles away from me when I pry them out of my cold, dead fingers.
Well, I went to the doctors yesterday here in Canada, and they took my temperature, and they're like, it's 37 point whatever. And I'm like, I have no idea.
What does that mean?
She's like, it's 99. I'm like, okay, I need to learn the metric system.
Here are the only 22 countries in the world Britain has not invaded. Wow.
Also, to see all the McDonald's across the world.
Oh, yeah, let's see. All the McDonald's.
Africa.
Wow.
Africa, Mongolia looks like.
They love, China loves Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you're worried about going to China and saying, "Oh, I won't be able to eat the food," don't worry. There's Kentucky Fried Chicken everywhere.
You can get Western food pretty much everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Except Africa and Mongolia.
This is fun. This is just great. 40 of them.
There's 40 of them, and what I found most interesting was the map of the time zones in Antarctica.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, and you forget that they would.
Well, Antarctica's big.
It's just at the bottom, so it has every single time zone.
It's at the bottom.
So it has every time zone.
That's right. Of course, it does.
But
in fact, you could be at the dot. You could be at the South Pole. At the dot in the South Pole, that would have every time zone, wouldn't it?
That's right. And the tech angle is the one below it has a global internet usage based on the time of day, and it shows like a map.
Oh, I've seen this GIF, this animated GIF that goes across, and it's just really cool. It's really cool. It lights up at night, of course, is when it lights up, when people start to really use the internet. Right about 7 o'clock when everybody tunes into Netflix.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking it was the opposite when people read the.
Here's the world's busiest air travel routes. The number one route is from.
Which surprised me.
I've been to Jeju Island, which is a Korean vacation spot.
Like Hawaii.
To Seoul.
You've been?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I've never been. I want to go.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's not Hawaii, but it's cool.
Okay.
Then Sapporo to Tokyo.
Because everyone keeps talking about
it. Most of these are within countries. Melbourne.
Yeah, I've been on a few of these routes. I've been on the Cape Town, Johannesburg, and the Tokyo, Osaka.
None of them
Rio,
are in the
Sao Paulo.
U.S.
None of them.
Yeah.
I would have thought New York, L.A., or London, New York. But no.
Maybe it's because they're littler planes on these too, so there's more planes up there, right?
But that's a fun map to check out. But I also have an app for you that I think that you might like for your vacation coming up.
Okay.
I don't shop, but I have a feeling you might, or Lisa, or someone.
Somebody in the family shops. Oh, this is great. So when you leave the country and you buy a bunch of crap, and then you get on the plane and they say, "Tell us what you bought and how much it was worth," and you go, "What?" You have to have receipts and the amount for everything. So this lets you track what you buy as you buy it.
Exactly. And it's 99 cents. It's for the iPad and the iPhone. So it's only iOS.
Tell me the truth. You can tell me. Nobody knows who you are.
That's right.
Do you lie on those customs declarations? You say, yeah, it was a couple $100 worth of stuff.
Well, I don't shop.
Oh, so it's easy for you.
I only do carry-on. So I don't even have... I used to take a lot of chocolate and candy back for my niece and nephews, but now that I have global entry, you're not supposed to bring any of that food in.
Oh, really?
So it's not worth the risk.
Oh, all right. So that's the app. It's 99 cents. It's iOS. It's called Simply Declare. Actually, there's a free version too, which is great. If you want the ad supported.
That's key.
Yeah, very nice. Finally, alternate airports.
Yep, that is one of my sites, but I just redesigned it, put it on a new page. So this is it's a great resource for people who are looking to save some money. Instead of just putting in, you want to fly from San Francisco to Miami, check out the alternate airport. Some people don't know what they are. So you can go, look at Oakland, look at San Jose. And if you're going to Miami, look at Fort Lauderdale. I think it's 25 miles away. I have to look at this thing and say what it tells you. 25 miles away.
A lot of travel sites, I'm not sure which ones, I think Expedia, you could say, and check area airports as well. For
a lot of them do that now.
Yeah.
And Kayak does a really good job, and Expedia does a good job as well. But this is for, if you're really into doing your research beforehand and don't want to sit there on different websites.
This is great.
Map it out.
This is great. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows where we're leaving from. I mean, I know San Jose, Oakland, and San Francisco are all close by. But if you're going somewhere you're not familiar with, this would be very handy. And you'll find it, as with everything else he talks about, at johnnyjet.com. He is the travel insider. And he also is on Twitter. And follow his Twitter because there's all sorts of good stuff there, at Johnny Jet. And in fact, I would look at the lists he's made on his Twitter account of airlines and so forth, airports. Very handy.
And I have one that has every single travel writer and airline and all that stuff.
Johnny, you're the greatest. I hope you feel better. I'm sorry that Natalie got sick too.
We're out for a week. I was out for a week, so she's probably out for a week.
Well, it's not your fault. It's not her fault. It's the kids' fault.
That's right. Blame it on the kids.
I hate, we're coming up to back to school time, and that's when everybody gets sick because the kids go back. They kind of mingle together. They share their mucus, and then we, the adults, get sick when they come home. So
the one takeaway I hope everyone gets is to wipe down your hotel room, your car rental, and your airline surroundings.
I'm gonna get a big
and keep your hands away from your face.
Yeah, big thing of Clorox wipes, and I'm gonna bleach it all. Thank you, Johnny.
If you are sick, wear a mask if you're flying.
You got a mask. I see you got one. That's good. Yeah. I always thought this strange. You see them in Japan all the time. They wear masks all the time. Is that to protect you from other people or other people from you?
No, it's because they have manners. They're polite.
It's to protect other people from your sneezes.
Because they're sick.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Johnny Jet, thank you so much. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls right after this. You can't bring wipes on airplanes? Oh, I beg to differ.
It's just what I wanted to hear. Somebody spends my life on flights in hire cars and hotel rooms. And I'm always sick as well.
I'm gonna get a ton of these. Are those considered liquids? I'm gonna try it. 2 weeks. I'm flying to Italy. I'm hosing everything down. No, you can't bring bottles of Clorox. Oh, the wipes are useless, says Dr. Mom. Great. They're not. They don't do anything, huh?
What? Why? They've got to help.
Come on, Dr. Mom. Give us a ray of light.
It's better than nothing. At least try, right? But the not touching your face thing, if your hands are germy, is huge.
I know, but I
can't.
can't.
Through your eyes and mouth.
But I can't remember that. It's
to wash up before you eat.
I wash my hands all the time, but I touch my face. I can't.
You do. I see you.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Tie your hands behind your back? Yeah.
Just think about it. Be careful.
I try, but I can't. So what should we do? Yeah, I use soap and water. I don't use antibacterial soap. I just use soap and water. So what do we do, Dr. Mom? How do you sanitize the airplane seat if you can't bring a bottle of Clorox with you?
Oh, she means the antibacterials. Okay, well, something.
Yeah, because they just breed stronger bacteria.
Oh, we're all gonna die.
If I brought alcohol wipes, would work, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd work on the fabric surfaces, but they'd work on the hard surfaces.
Still better than nothing, and at least you're not putting your face on the fabric surface.
You can't really just don't touch the seat and then your face. That's not good advice. I need better advice. I need something I can spray.
The mask, and then wear
the mask
latex gloves.
I'm going to wear latex gloves and then not touch my face.
It won't look freaky at all.
Because every time I touch my face, I'll go, ooh, it's rubber.
True that.
I could just buy a bunch of vodka and drench the seat in that. That'd work.
Yeah.
I don't think vodka's alcoholic enough.
It's not strong enough.
I do. I touch my face a lot. I shouldn't. But I don't know how to stop doing that. It's so unconscious. I don't know.
Subconscious.
It's not even subconscious. It's unconscious.
It is. Okay.
I am going to get alcohol wipes and wipe at least the arms and the luggage rest and the remote control.
I would do it.
And then I'm going to bring a towel to put on the headrest, right? That's good. Yeah, no one sits next to you when you're wearing a mask. That's true. Especially if you wear a mask and you go a lot. I'm going to wear Kleenex boxes on my feet. Bogey and Houston.
What is that thing that you get where you have to wear the mask? I can't remember.
Where you have to wear the mask?
Yeah.
SARS? Tuberculosis. Why are you pointing?
Tuberculosis, thank you.
That was your TB test?
Yes, I was pointing at my arm for the 2 dots.
We speak the TB language.
Yes. I'm like, Dr. Mom will know.
Dr. Mom will know. Napalm, thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to bring Purell. I'll bring, well, we are traveling business class. Do you think they sanitize business class? It seems cleaner. It does seem cleaner.
I would think for those longer flight airplanes that they
must clean
do
them
take
pretty
the time
thoroughly.
to really clean them.
Yeah.
It's those Southwest
It's the
hops
turnarounds.
between LA and SF. Yep,
It's
they're
the
turn and
turnarounds.
burn, turn and
There's
burn.
less vomit in the front. Thank you, sir. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. There are some things you really don't want to know in the world. And one of them is how many germs are about and how hopeless it is. And you're just going to get sick. I just wish we hadn't even brought up the subject. Now the chat room's going on and on. We have a physician in the chat room who apparently is an expert in this stuff. She says there's nothing you can do because you can't carry enough cleaning stuff on to really make a difference. So, 8888 asked Leo. I don't know if there's a tech angle to this. I guess there is. You could carry around those ultraviolet lights and
kill the germs with a laser.
Clorox Healthcare Bleach Germicidal Wipes. All right. Effective against 51 microorganisms.
For air travel, it would have to be an individual packet, right?
Yeah. You can't bring a bottle of Clorox on the plane. I don't think they allow that. Oh, well. You know what? Have a good immune system. And if you don't, I guess travel is, you got to be careful. But thank you, Johnny Jet, for giving me the willies. Steve in Malibu, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Leo. How you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
Good. I have a kind of a simple question for you. I live 30 miles outside of Los Angeles. I can't get any TV. I got nice big HD TVs. I can't get any reception with an HD antenna. I'm stuck using Dish or DirecTV or one of those guys, and all I watch is network TV and PBS and movies.
Yeah.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Is there some way I can get the network onto my TV and just watch the basic channels?
The problem is you want the internet, and what do you use for internet access?
Oh, we have, we're 30 miles from where the internet was invented, and I've got AT&T at less than 5 megabytes.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm living in the third world country here.
Well, but you have the advantage of living in a beautiful area, right?
We love here. I guess we shouldn't watch TV or use the internet. We should just go to the beach.
Before I even, I just bought a house, and before I even considered buying a house, the first thing I find out is what's the internet access situation.
Well, when we bought the house, internet wasn't a factor.
Yeah, yeah. It is an interesting issue because, of course, if you're in a beautiful area where the population density is low, there's not a lot of incentive for companies to string wire out there. If the cable company would be a good alternative, but I guess they didn't come out that far, huh?
We're 4 miles up from the beach, and there's no cable here. It's either satellite or nothing.
Right. Yeah. And the phone company, you have to be, for DSL to be speedy, you have to be within a couple of miles of the central office. It sounds like, though, that you're not too far from the central office. That's one good thing about, in this country, they put phone offices everywhere. So you're a little bit more.
I don't know when I'm going to get fiber here, though. Honestly,
you're never going to get fiber
on AT&T copper lines.
It's not worth it because they'd have to. It costs them so much to get that out to you. They can't make enough money back from you to amortize the cost, right?
Well, I got a Chromecast, Leo, and I hooked it up.
Yeah, but that's not going to do you any good.
It's a total catch-22.
Yeah.
You can watch YouTube, you can watch Netflix. You can't get your Chrome on. I haven't tried a computer yet, but I can't get it off Android. I can't get it off an iPad. It won't cast onto the screen.
Why is that? So you have Wi-Fi in your house.
I have Wi-Fi. It's slow, but it's enough to stream. But I got this Chromecast. It's made by Google, but I have an Android, a pretty up-to-date Android phone. You need some sort of extension app.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. So I'll help you with this because I have 5 Chromecasts. I love the things. So download onto your phone. It makes it easy. An app called Chromecast.
Okay,
that's the setup app. You launch Chromecast. It should then turn your TV to the Chromecast player. It should see it on the screen, and it should see the Chromecast.
You got that.
And at that point, the Chromecast will put up a code onto the screen, and you will enter in the Wi-Fi access stuff for the Chromecast. The Chromecast needs to be on Wi-Fi.
Got it. Okay.
Once you've got the Chromecast configured, you've named it, it's on the Wi-Fi, it's logged in, then you launch, let's try it, launch Netflix or YouTube.
No, I can get Netflix and YouTube, but the holy grail is to get the Chrome browser so that I can watch other streaming.
I get it.
For example,
so you want a Chrome tab on your
nightly news. You can watch that.
Right. So Chromecast as beta will also stream anything that's in a Chrome tab on your desktop. So do you have Chrome on your computer?
You won't believe this. I have Chrome on my computer. I downloaded it onto an older PC, and I loaded the app, but it won't support anything below Windows 7.
Right.
So of course, my sons have the latest, MacBook Pros. I'm going to try them.
Right.
They'll be able to do it. My son is, Dad, just plug it in with my Thunderbolt cord. Stop screwing around.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to plug it in. If he downloads Chrome on his MacBook and installs the Chrome, you need the Chromecast plug-in. And then he can Chromecast any tab from his MacBook. You need to have obviously up to date version of Windows.
I guess so.
Yeah.
More equipment. It's just amazing to me, Leo, that there isn't a device. I know you said that it crashed the website. So many people are interested. There should be a device you can just plug into your TV and be able to see the internet on your TV. Why is that so hard?
Yeah. Well, it's mostly hard not because of the technology. It's mostly hard because of CBS, ABC, and NBC who don't want you to do that. Yeah. They want you to watch TV. So, for instance, Hulu Plus blocks Google TV. It says, no, you can't watch it on Google TV.
It's all about, in other words, it's like yesterday when I was on the phone with Dish and I said, look, I'm watching 10 channels out of the 120 you give me. Can I just buy those 10 channels?
No, we don't sell
No,
a la
you can't buy those 10 channels. You got to buy, the Kardashians and
I know, it's horrible, I know.
Commercials.
So, we're in a transition stage. It is very clear to everybody involved, not just us, but also to these big incumbents like the cable companies, that eventually all television will be delivered via the internet, period.
Right.
Now, you're in a little bit of a problematic situation because you don't have super high speed, although 5 megabits is probably enough. You'd like to have more, but it's probably enough for decent quality.
It ain't like they got, you know what country's number 2 in speed in the world? Romania.
I know. We're something like 8th. We're not in the best. 29. Wow, that's not good. Yeah. You know why? It's because we invented it.
Yeah.
And this is the same reason our cell network is a little more antiquated. It's older. A lot of countries just leapfrogged into the future. We are stuck in the past because we invented it. That's all part of being, an innovator. We're gonna solve this, and eventually, I hope it's in your and my lifetime. We will be able to get a la carte, not just a la carte channels, but a la carte shows via the internet. I believe that's coming. But everybody who makes a lot of money now selling you stuff you don't want is fighting. Remember the record industry?
Mm-hmm.
Remember they didn't want to sell individual songs for 99 cents? Apple made them. They didn't want to do it because they knew that nobody would buy the album if you could get the one good song for 99 cents. Why buy the album?
And that's what's happened.
That's what's happened. The record industry is a bellwether. It's the canary in the mine. What happened to them is about to happen to everybody else, and they know it. They're just going kicking and screaming.
They always go kicking and screaming. It goes back to the days of VHS. Nobody believed anybody was even going to watch, movies at home.
Jack Valenti, the Motion Picture Association of America, said, and I think in many ways he was a great guy, but he was a little bit he was scared of VCRs. He said the VCR is to the motion picture industry what the Boston Strangler is to the woman home alone. He said that in Congress, in testimony in front of Congress. By the way, They lost that battle. The VCR was made legal, and guess who made a lot of money? Billions and billions of dollars, the movie industry.
Oh, now they're complaining because they can't. That revenue stream isn't available.
Yeah. People aren't. We want Blockbuster back. Sorry, we like it.
Yeah, they're such a bunch of knuckleheads.
No, don't blame them. You know, you'd be the same way. It's hard to make these changes. You build a whole business around a certain way of life, and that way of life changes. And the internet is the internet a big change maker, isn't it? I mean, it really is transforming every business, every industry. And if you're on the wrong end of that, if you're a newspaper, if you're a record company, if you're a cable company, it looks bad.
Yeah.
And if you're on the right end of it, which is us, the users, we just wish it had happened faster.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They just, give it up and let us get what we want.
Give it up, and it'll happen. It's just
we'll pay for it.
It's not going to happen overnight, and that's the funny part. And that's the thing that really gets me. If you can embrace the opportunity, if you can say, "Yeah, it's going to change," but let's make it work. You know, the VCR guys made a lot of money. The movies made a lot of money on VCRs. It can work. You just have to say, instead of, "No, I don't like change," you have to say, "Okay, it's going to change. What do we do?
Figure out how to make it work.
Let's figure out how to make it work." It doesn't always work. You look at Kodak. This is the counterexample to that. Kodak knew digital was coming. They got out of the film business. They got out of the processing business. They made digital cameras. They did everything they could. They bought O-Photo. They went online, and they still went bankrupt. And the reason is, it turned out they couldn't make as much money in digital as they did processing and printing pictures for you. So sometimes the economics don't work out, but it's going to change whatever they want. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So what we're going to do is every time somebody celebrates New Year, we hope we'll get people all around the world to call in on Skype or whatever and say, "I'm out at the lighthouse in Bora Bora."
Who's going to sponsor it?
I don't know if we have a sponsor for it. I think we're just doing it
Let's
for
get
fun.
Cristal.
Cristal. Oh, champagne. We should have a champagne sponsor.
I think Lisa and I should go to France and talk to the people at Cristal.
How about just go up to Jay or one of the Napa Sparkly?
But
that'd be nice. Yeah.
While you're over there, just go up to the Veuve Clicquot people and be like, "Hey, we're doing this party."
New Year's Eve in Bora Bora, brought to you by Veuve Clicquot. When it's time to celebrate, pop some bubbly from Veuve.
That's very good.
Yeah, see, I'll do a little spec. It's New Year's Eve in New York City, and everybody's drinking Cristal. What's the rapper's champagne?
Cristal.
Is it Dom Cristal?
They were very into Cristal for a while, and there was some big.
It rhymed. It rhymed with something. That's why they drank a lot of it. No, there was a champagne that rhymed nicely.
Dom Perignon.
And no, what was it? Moet?
Cristal, y'all.
No.
But somebody interviewed some guys at Cristal, and they were kind of like, "Yeah, we don't really care who drinks our stuff."
Yeah.
They said something disparaging.
As long as they drink it, I don't care if they are urban.
And then Kanye West was like, "God damn it, I'm not going to drink."
That's right. I remember that. He said, "I'm not going to drink Cristal anymore." That's right.
And the guy was like, "Bring it on. We sell out no matter what every year."
We can't make enough. You don't have to drink it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it should be brought to you by Ruinum. The fortified wine that's guaranteed to give you a headache in the morning.
Oh, no.
If it's a party tonight, it's Ruinum in the morning.
What's the other one? Thunder something?
Thunderbird. Thunderbird, MD 2020.
We're talking Thunderbolt, and it's brought to you by Thunderbird.
Ruinum is basically Thunderbird. It's a fortified wine that one of our shows sells.
It sounds...
We have a show that's a renegade. It's out-of-control renegade show. And if I don't listen to it because I know if I did, I would cancel it in a minute.
I love how Ruinum is what it says it is.
It is what it is. It is what it delivers on its name. Ruinum. We believe in naming it for what it's worth.
Total wreck.
Total wreck. Your life is over. My first time I got drunk was on, I think it was either Boone's Farm or Strawberry Ripple. It was one of those sweetened wines that were big in the 70s.
I think I drank Tang and vodka.
Oh,
with my friends when I was.
We were out on the beach. We would go to watch the sunrise on the beach and stuff because I lived in Santa Cruz, and somebody brought a bottle of Strawberry Ripple.
You have way better memories than I do.
That was a good memory.
Yeah.
It was a nude beach too. Did I mention that?
Ooh, no.
So we were all naked. and freezing our ass off. We used to go out there. This is in high school. We used to go out there, and I had a friend who would bring his grill, and he'd make pancakes out on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cute.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. I lived in Chicago.
I haven't tried arrogant blank beer. I haven't tried any beers with the word arrogant. I'm not a beer drinker.
I'm becoming a beer drinker.
My new house has a wine cellar, beautiful wine cellar. So I might have to. It's actually not in the cellar. It's in my library. It's in my den. But I might have to start drinking wine again.
You like red the best, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll drink some whites. You know what I actually like, and I'm thinking of getting, I like Chateau de Chem. I like sweeter, like Sauternes and sweet dessert wines. And I like some Gewürz. I don't like Chablis. I don't like
Sauternes is
Chardonnay.
very good. Chardonnay is horrible.
I don't like Chardonnay. It's too oaky.
Sancerre.
Sancerre I love. In fact, there's a Laporte Sancerre that's very good.
Get out.
It's called Laporte. It's from France. It's very good.
Excellent.
It's a delicious Sancerre. Yeah, on a hot summer day, a cold Sancerre is good. But no, mostly I like Bordeaux's. That's what I drink is Bordeaux.
Okay.
If you want to send me wine, I'm not talking to you, Heather.
Right.
Everybody else, send me a Bordeaux. I'm going to have a wine cellar stocked with great Bordeaux's. That's what I really want. Well, hey. How are you today, Leo Laporte, the tech guy? We're talking about computers, the internet, the changing world thanks to technology. Phone number is 8888-ASK-LEO, 888-827-5536, toll free. Anywhere in the U.S. or Canada, outside that area, you can call anyway. Just use, Skype or something like that. And because you're calling a toll-free number, it won't cost you anything. My companion in arms, Heather Hammond, is here taking the phone calls. I haven't talked to you much today. Is everything okay? You're back. You went to a concert or something, right? Kim was filling in last week, and everybody said, "Where's Heather?"
Oh, they loved her.
They loved Kim.
Good.
You look enough alike that I think about half the audience didn't even know it wasn't you.
Good. That was the plan.
So, but yeah, no, I think Kim did a great job. But I'm glad to have you back. Who should I
Let's
pick up?
definitely
Here?
talk to Ed in Hollywood. This is kind of low tech, high tech.
Hollywood. We're on the great KFI in LA, and
Yes.
that I just love it because we get all of the. I just know when I'm talking about the record industry and the movie industry and giving them a hard time as I did last hour, that I'm probably getting in equal measure people going, yeah, tell me about it. I work in it, and people saying, oh, get that Leo off the air.
They're rolling down the 405 in their Bentley with their Cristal.
They're calling my program director down there at KFI, the wonderful Robin Bertolucci, who fends them all off. She's a great supporter. Ed in Hollywood. Hi, Ed. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. How you doing? Great talking to you again.
Good.
Yeah, so KFI is an amazing station.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I've been listening to you online from Tech TV, but listening to your podcast, I found out about KFI, and I'm actually hooked to the station. They have some really informative information, and it's
well, and now thanks to iHeartRadio, you can listen to it or any station in the country on your smartphone. I think what's interesting. Of course, radio is one of those industries that has been very much challenged by the internet era. But I think a few companies are looking at this and saying it's an opportunity. iHeartRadio is a really good example. It's become a very popular app on iPhone and Android. It's a web app as well. And you can listen to any station. They even have radio, music radio now where you could pick an artist and kind of Pandora-style music. I mean, they've really done a good job of embracing the new era.
Perhaps you can say that the radio is the reverse side of the television or the movie industry, where a lot of people can stream the shows live through the apps. They're still generating the revenues and so forth at their leisure and at their convenience, where I understand in the motion picture industry, they're feeling that they're not getting the same revenues from the ads. I'm not sure.
No, that's true. And I think that one of the things that radio is well positioned for the internet era, especially talk radio, right? Because this was an interactive medium before there was the internet. We were a two-way street. And there's something about live interactive radio that just can't be duplicated. You could download podcasts, and they're wonderful. Goodness knows, podcasts have been very, very good to me. But there's nothing like live.
Absolutely. Especially you're interacting with everybody.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. I think it's compelling in a way, that means it will succeed and continue in some form. I just believe it. I really do.
And hopefully, I want to keep it going, especially like your program and some of the other ones are amazing. And these are very valuable informations that we don't want to lose.
Thank you.
And we got to take advantage of it while we have it.
Well, the good news is this show has been a great success since we started doing it in 2004. And we're growing all the time, new stations all the time, new advertisers all the time. So I think we're going to survive. What can I do for you, though, Ed? Let's not make it all about me. What about you?
Well, I think, I have a quick question. My question is basically, I have an issue with my laptop screen. And I might have to get my laptop screen replaced. So my question is it better for me to go to, say, like Best Buy or one of these places to have my laptop replaced by them? Or is this something that I can do myself?
So in a lot of cases, it's not super hard to do, but you have to find the part. You can go on eBay and see if somebody's selling that laptop. Sometimes, you can get that a whole laptop and its parts.
Okay.
But if you can get the part, then usually installing a laptop screen is a fairly easy thing to do. You need to be able to open it up. So that's the first thing to look at is how easy is it going to be to open up the laptop. And then usually laptop screens are connected by a simple ribbon cable to the motherboard. The laptop screen comes with the ribbon cable already installed on the screen. You just have to plug it into the motherboard. If it's just plugged in, that's very simple. If it's soldered in, that's more difficult. You'd have to desolder the old one and resolder the new one. You'd have to be good with a soldering iron. But usually that's a pretty easy, of all the things to replace, that's the easiest. And, you pay a lot for labor if you go to Best Buy and so forth. And I don't think it's...
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. I'm usually pretty good at tech. I mean,
if you're handy, where I'd go is iFixit.com. iFixit.com. I love this site. You're probably aware of them because they do teardowns when new technology comes out. They immediately take it apart and they say what parts are in it. But they also have, and this is their real bread and butter, repair guides for everything. And they also sell parts and tools. So iFixit's neat. They believe in the right to repair. It is a global community of people helping each other repair things. Isn't that a great idea?
Yeah.
Now, which laptop do you have?
I have an Asus X53S.
So I'd go there and I'd search for that laptop, see if they have any information on how easily it is to there's a huge variation in how easy to repair it is. They give grades at iFixit.com on repairability. Where they'll say this thing is usually Apple devices, the least repairable device we've seen since the last Apple device. But laptops generally are pretty straightforward. I think the thing you're going to want to know is how hard it is to get the part, how hard it is to open up the lid to get the screen in, and then maybe the most important thing is that ribbon cable soldered on or is it socketed? If it's socketed, and I believe most are, popping it out should be easy. Start at iFixit, see if they have a fix-it guide for you. If not, check YouTube. YouTube sometimes will vary. The chat room is also saying, and this is a good point, SIOK Online says, make sure the screen is the problem. If it's cracked, it's the screen. But if it's just blank, make sure it's not something wrong with the motherboard. Plug in an external screen if you have an adapter on the laptop to plug in an external screen. Check that out. If it works but the screen doesn't, then it's the screen. But you want to make sure that it's the screen that is the problem, okay? I think you should at least do the research to see if you can do this yourself. Don't give up right away. Do the research first. Check iFixit, check YouTube, check eBay for parts. And if all of it falls into place, you'd probably do this for $50 compared to the hundreds it would cost to get a store to do it. Scott in Seattle, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I got a quick question for you here. And then, what I'm trying to do is I've got about 50 gig worth of pictures that I've taken over the past, however many years. And I want to make sure I don't lose these because these are kind of important things.
Yes.
And I've got them all backed up online. I've got a service kind of like Carbonite, but it's a pain to try and download 50 gigs worth of stuff. And so I want to try. I've got 2 computers in my house, and I'd like to have them backed up there as well, so that if something goes wrong with one hard drive, I don't have to download everything offline. I can do it the easy way and just transfer it myself.
So backup is an interesting conundrum. There's no really one perfect solution. There are a couple of things, though, you're looking for. And by the way, I've pointed people to the 321 backup article on DP Best Flow, and I'll do it again. My friend Peter Krogh has written a great article on backup. 321 backup, it's called. It's at dpbestflow.org. When we come back, I'll talk a little bit about some of the rules of thumb. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show is brought to you today by Netflix. Actually, this is perfect, isn't it, to talk about Netflix right now after talking about how the industry is changing. $7.99 a month for unlimited streaming. I often feel like I'm preaching to the choir here because I know most of you probably already have Netflix. Certainly your devices have Netflix. Netflix is available on all laptops, all desktops, on Xbox 360s, PlayStation 3s, Nintendo Wiis, iPads, iPhones. Chromecast works great with Netflix. I will launch. In fact, this is a great way to use Netflix. I'll launch Netflix on my phone because the phone has all the capability of search and stuff and browsing. And then when I find the video I want, I press the Chromecast button, send it to my TV. Awesome. 1080p, by the way, looks great. Netflix also has some really nice advantages because of their new and original content. And this is where I'm very excited about Netflix. You probably heard about House of Cards. The next season's coming. Arrested Development. People love that show. It was canceled. They brought it back, raised the money, and brought it back for a new season. It's a very interesting season. You know, each character on Arrested Development gets their own show. It's really fun. Job just cracks me up. Orange is the New Black is the new one. I think Len said it's the best TV he's ever seen. That was a very enjoyable series. Liz likes it too, apparently. There are several easy ways to do it. You can watch Netflix on your Mac, your PC, your iPad. You can watch it on your iPhone. You can watch it on your gaming console. You can watch it on your Apple TV. Pretty much, it's the benchmark for every device. There's a new feature which I really like, and I just have activated this, where because my daughter watches different stuff than I do. So she's got her own profile now on Netflix. It's very easy to set it up on the Netflix site. And so when the recommendations are customized for the different people that are watching. I love that feature. So much great stuff. Do me a favor. Check it out. TVs, movies, new stuff too. We've got a 30-day trial for you. If you're already a member, pass this along to a family member who might not be so tech savvy. Go to netflix.com/twit and you'll get a free month of Netflix. It's only $7.99 a month, but hey, free month, then they can try. Love Dr. Horrible. It's funny. Because you watch Doctor Who, maybe you'll want to watch Dr. Horrible. Netflix.com/twit. Love you, Netflix. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. It's your fault, Heather. You got me singing that. Blame Heather. My Bologna.
iPad.
It's got to be ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, Lenovo.
Lenovo was
a good
perfect.
one. Yeah.
You thought of that one. John and Encinitas. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on, John. Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. I got to push the button. Wasn't I talking to somebody else? I was talking to now I can't figure out how this thing works. There, I got him on hold. Who was I talking to before? You remember?
Scott in Seattle?
Oh, what?
Oh, he's gone. The guy with the broken screen.
Oh, I handled that, though.
Okay.
We're
then
done,
new.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All new.
All new. Sorry, John. I just want to make sure I wrapped up the last call.
Yeah, I don't want to short anybody.
No. Oh, wait a minute. No, I was talking about backup. I was talking about backup.
Okay.
Yeah, so just before we get to you, I just want to, and this is germane for everybody in the audience. He had 50 gigs worth of pictures he wanted to make sure he had a good backup of. 50 gigs is a lot. It's not too much for off-site backup. It does, anything more than maybe 100 to 200 gigs is probably too much because it's got to use your upstream internet access. And so do the math. If you have, some people have, say, 384 kilobits per second. Divide by 10, that means it's 38 kilobytes per second. And, of course, it's not going to use all of your upstream bandwidth or you wouldn't be able to get online. So let's say it's using 20 kilobytes per second. How long is it going to take to back up 20 gigabytes? A long time. So online backup is good for small amounts, not more than, say, 100 to 200 gigabytes. But so it's only part of your total strategy, too. I'd have local backup. If you have multiple machines, as our caller did, your best solution is to get a network-attached storage. That is basically a computer that doesn't have a keyboard or a mouse or a monitor that's hooked up to your network, and it will suck whatever files you want. You could say back up all the pictures from every computer onto that centralized thing. And a good network-attached storage will then be able to use Carbonite or some other cloud solution to back itself up. Now you got the best of both worlds. You've got a local backup, all of the computers, and you've got an off-site backup in case of a disaster. That's the kind of thing you want to do. Synology, Synology, makes excellent home backup solutions like this. They're called network-attached storage devices. I also like the ReadyNAS from Netgear. I use those as well. All right. Sorry about that, John. Your turn. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, John.
Hi, worth the wait, yeah?
Yeah.
I just want to have my phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay.
Oh, yeah. So you're already paying for data on your cell phone. You want to make that be your internet access.
Yeah. Is that still legal to do?
It's completely legal. However, your phone company may or may not charge you for it. If it's Verizon, they're not supposed to. They got in trouble for doing that.
I've got Metro PCS. It's a month-to-month.
Well, you just should check with them and their terms of service. You want something called hotspotting. Android and iPhones can do it, but generally speaking, it's up to the carrier to allow it.
Okay.
And there are some things to be aware of. There usually are bandwidth caps. So with a lot of these carriers, if you exceed, say, 2 gigabytes in a month, they'll throttle you down to almost unusability. So,
yeah, they do that. But I just want basic things to check my email and.
I think that's a great idea. Why pay for twice the internet access when you've already got it on your phone? Just check with Metro PCS to say, hey, I want to use it in a hotspot. Is that an extra charge? Some companies pay $20 extra. Just depends.
Yeah, I tried Open Garden, and that said that it needed to have my computer Bluetooth.
No, you don't want to do that. That Bluetooth done is not what you want.
Okay.
Do you want any Android phone will do this just fine.
Okay. Oh, and I don't need to download an app. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What phone do you have?
I have the LG 4G Motion. LG Motion.
Yeah. Check in the settings to see if it can set up an internet hotspot. You probably can.
Yeah, I tried doing that, and it wouldn't let me. It would just click on and it would click off. So I'm trying to bypass, and I just want to know if there's a free app.
That may mean that that's probably the case that then Metro PCS, your phone company, has to be paid a little extra, like a little backsheesh. Say, hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to turn that on. And you give them $20. I think it's $20, and then they'll say, okay, and now it'll work.
Is that a one-time fee, or do I have to pay that $20?
You got to ask them. I'm not sure for Metro PCS. It really varies. As I said, Verizon lost a consent decree a couple of years ago and cannot charge, although they don't tell you that. They'll just charge you, and you have to tell them, I don't want to pay for it. And then they say, oh, of course not. AT&T, I think, is $20 a month. It just really varies. So you have to call the carrier and say, I want to use you as a hotspot. How much? And what's my bandwidth? I'm sure well, I don't know. I don't know because I just haven't seen their contracts. Just check. It should be online or call a rep. They'll tell you. It's different for everybody. Leon in Gardena. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Leon.
Yes. Excuse me.
Come on over to the phone. Let's talk.
How are you, Leo?
I'm good. How are you?
Fairly well, thank you. Listen, I'm classified as legally blind, and I was wondering what would be the best app to download for voice command capabilities. I'm using Utter, which is utterly ridiculous.
Are you talking about a computer or a phone, or what are you on?
Sorry, on my mobile phone.
Are you Android?
Android, yes.
Android Google offers a solution built in. I think TalkBack is the screen reader, and then the voice to text is built in as the Google search. It's called Search or Voice Search, which allows you to dictate on the keyboards, dictate commands. You have to activate it, and that will vary from phone to phone. So TalkBack, if it's not installed, you can just go to the Play Store and download it and install it. That's your screen reader. And then the built-in Google Voice dictation is quite good. Quite good. I think Android is really caught up in terms of, we call this accessibility, or sometimes they call it adaptive or assistive technologies, the ability of a computing device to adapt itself to work with differently abled people. And blind users are, of course, probably among the most common, and both iOS and Android do, I think, an excellent job now with blind users. And I'm not blind, but many of my listeners who are have told me that's the case. Jeff in Salem, Washington, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Hey.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to buy the iPad Mini 2 when it comes out, and I was wondering what your thoughts on it were.
All right, hang on. This is probably appropriate since it's just a couple of weeks away. What will Apple do on September 10th? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And we were talking about the future iPad Mini with Jeff. But, Jeff, all of this is mere speculation. Apple has announced nothing, right?
Right.
You do know that. So even the iPhone is pure speculation.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen rumors that say there will be no new iPad Mini until next year. I've seen rumors that said there'll be a new iPad Mini as early as 12 days from now, September 10th. Here's what I would be willing to bet on. There will be a new iPhone and there will be a new iPad. That's it. That's all there is. I'm pretty sure that there'll be an event of some kind on September 10th. I'm pretty sure that will be new iPhones at a 5C and a 5S. I'm pretty sure the 5C will look like like the old 5, but it will have a fingerprint reader in the home button. And I'm pretty sure, in fact, I'm positive that the new iPhones will have iOS 7, this Candy Crush operating system that Apple's been putting out. Now, iPad is a little less known, and the reason is there's Apple's been all over the map. They announced the iPad in January 2010. They shipped it in, I think, March. The first year. Second year, they announced it in June, I think, and then the third year, last year they announced it in October. It's all over the place. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. There was only 7 months between iPad 3 and iPad 4. Usually there's a year. There is no usually when it comes to iPads. We just don't know. I do think there'll be a new Mini. I don't know if it'll be Retina. I don't know what the new Mini will feature. We have seen leaks of supposedly iPad 5s. That would be the next generation full-size iPad that looks kind of like the old Minis, smaller bezel, thinner. I think everything I am saying, except for the fact that there will be a new iPad someday, is speculation.
Yeah, the rumor mill is all over the place.
All over the place. And I have pretty good contacts. I talk to a lot of people, and there seems to be no consensus. I would love a Retina that is a very high-resolution Mac Mini. iPad Mini. I think the iPad Mini is the right size. I think 10 inches is good for some people, but for most people, 7-inch, 7.9-inch is the best.
Yeah.
I love the Mini, but I wish the screen were a little bit better.
Do you mind if I ask another question?
Sure.
How can I change the default search engine in Safari? I cannot figure that out.
Safari for the iPad or Safari for the Mac?
MacBook. I want to change it to something other than Yahoo, Bing, or Google.
Yeah. I'm sure that's easy to do. I haven't played with it. I actually like Google. In the very first page of the settings, oh, I see. You don't want to use the ones that are in that drop-down. I get what you're saying. So in the very first page of settings, you can choose from the three you mentioned, Yahoo, Bing, or Google. But you want to say DuckDuckGo, right?
Yeah, or startpage.com.
Yeah. You want some other search engine. Yeah, I remember there's a way to do that. I'm just trying to remember. I bet you if you Google it, we could find it. Anybody in the chat room? Change default search engine. I love Google. In Safari. As I remember, it involves a little bit of a hack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That may be on my skill level then.
Well, hacking on the Mac merely means changing a text file. Let me look into it, and I'll tell you what. We'll put it in our chat or our webpage at techguylabs.com. There are extensions that will do it. Somebody in the chat room saying Glims.
Yeah, I did install that. I just can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah. There's the DDG extension, DuckDuckGo extension, if it were DuckDuckGo. I thought it was a fairly easy thing to do, but now that I browse through this, it does look like you need to do it in an extension, that you cannot just modify a text file. You know, in the past, I believe there's been a text file that had an XML file, a plist file that had the choices, and you could modify that. But I'm not sure now. Maybe they've changed how that works. And chat room doesn't seem to think there's a way to do it without getting an extension. You have to modify the executable. Very easy to do in other browsers, so I guess maybe use Chrome. Although Chrome on a Mac is not ideal. I end up back on Safari. Chrome seems to be slow on a Mac and have problems. We'll see. We'll find this for you. You can do it in Firefox and Chrome easily. Safari, not so easy. Isn't that interesting? He says he's tried Glims, and that's the free plugin that people are recommending, and I haven't used it. I'm pretty content with Google, to be honest with you. Glims for Safari is from MacHangout.com. And it says, a cocktail features to Safari, more search engines and so forth. GLIMS. I'll try it and I'll let you know. Be very nervous, I think, about modifying your browser too much. Your browser is a gateway to the outside world, and as such is also a gateway to malware, viruses, hacks. It's in your browser that you often are buying things online, giving out your credit card number. Your browser itself is a portal to malware. Malware can often use your browser to get into your system. It's really where you get in trouble. So I'd be very cautious about installing extensions unless you know they're good, you know they're from a good source. I think Glims is safe. I think the DuckDuckGo extension from DuckDuckGo.com is safe. And I think if you were able to modify a plist, it would be a simple thing to do. But installing binaries is always nerve-wracking. I'm just looking at some various sites. Well, we'll solve this. I don't want to waste your time on the air. We'll solve it and put it in our show notes. TechGuyLabs.com, okay? And if somebody's got a good suggestion, put it in the comments there. That's where we put everything. Always free, always available. You don't have to subscribe or anything. We just want to make it a great resource for you. TechGuyLabs.com. This is episode 1009. Scott, Seattle, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Scott. Hello, Scott. Did I press the wrong button? No, I pressed the right button. Scott? Scotty, hello. How about Steve in San Diego? Hi, Steve.
Hey, Leo, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I just have to tell you that since I got put on hold, I picked up my dry cleaning, my dog, and went grocery shopping.
Well, then we do that on purpose. We like you to get more done while you're listening to the Tech Guy Show.
Well, the fun thing is that I apologize. I can't stand people that are on their cell phone when they're going through the cashier, and so I was apologizing.
I know. I hate that. I know.
I was apologizing profusely to everyone, And they said, "Well, why are you on the phone?" I said, "Well, I'm on hold for the Leo Laporte show." They go, "Oh, okay, so 3 out of 5."
Wow. Wow. We're huge in San Diego on Kogo. That's a great station, actually. That's probably why, yeah.
You are, yes.
Yeah. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm 58 years old, and I'm an old Looney Tune fan, and I would love to do. I have a golden retriever who's a character. I would love to do a couple of videos of him, and then put on cartoon lips and say something for him. And I just wondered, is there any software program?
You mean like Clutch Cargo? Like you have a picture of him, and then your lips are going.
Yeah.
Don't let the Disney guys catch you. They'll hang you up by your heels.
Yeah.
Software to do Clutch Cargo lips. We can do it with a very expensive video switcher. That's how they do it in Clutch Cargo. I mean, let me think about this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Be very quiet.
When I took that one, I was like, now let me get this straight.
Let me get
what you want to do is.
How
and
do you
Greg was walking around and he heard me repeat the question and he turned around like, what?
What? You want to do what? With whose lips? What are you thinking now?
It reminds me of that video of the dog who's being told there's steak in the refrigerator.
Right. But his lips move naturally. Oh, right. Right?
Oh, my God.
Clutch Cargo
like, I'm
with
really
his pals Spinner and Paddlefoot in another exciting adventure, Pirate Isle.
Oh, it's not the show. I want the whole thing.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Clutch Cargo with his pals Spinner and Paddlefoot in another exciting adventure, the Jungle
Can you
Train.
believe we watched this crap?
You remember last time, Clutch and Company, after a crash landing caused by
that's
Whiplash
barely
and
animated.
Victor, met Swampy, an old friend, and Chub Perkins. They had just arrived at the plantation when...
What's the matter, Paddlefoot?
It's some kind of a bomb.
Paddlefoot thinks it's a ball. He's gonna play.
This is the cheapest animation in history. So those are real lips.
Throw it in the bushes, Clutch.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
I think I should be high if I'm going to watch this.
Seriously.
This is so bad.
Orbit
I'm in
9 foot,
orbit?
you idiot. He threw the bomb back at us. Let's get out of here.
Oh, my God.
This is
It's
cheap
like a
an
puppet
animation
show.
as you could do.
Thanks for saving us.
So that technique has been used for many years by Conan and others. I've done it. We did.
It's lovably old school.
Yeah. I did. I think I was Bill Gates once on the screensavers. So I want Clutch Cargo Lips software.
Oh, my God.
Let's see if the Google can find that.
I gotta. Oh, my God.
There's a blog called Clutch Cargo Lips. I don't see any software to do it. Synchrovox. That technology is called Synchrovox. Holy cow. All right, so what I want is Synchrovox software. Yeah, Conan used to do it. Seems like it'd be an easy thing to do. We can do it with our switcher. Crazy talk. Set up a camera, record your mouth, then mat your mouth over the doll's mouth. Yeah, well, that's... They've gotten completely degenerated into a conversation about something else. Adobe After Effects. Is there a website or computer program that allows you to put moving lips on a still image? Dun, 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 dun. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Great question. And if anybody knew how to do clutch cargo lips, it'd be this guy right here. Mad Magazine's maddest writer and the Gizwiz, Dick DeBartolo. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how are you, pal?
You remember, actually, there's a very popular YouTube personality that uses this same technique of, you have a camera with a still picture, and then you have another camera, and they just take the lips of an actor speaking, and they superimpose it. It's called Annoying Orange. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, you don't have any 11-year-olds in your life.
No, I did just Myra.
Oh, yeah. Annoying Orange is literally the most annoying thing on YouTube. It's huge. And that's all it is somebody with a very annoying voice superimposing their lips on an orange. But I don't think you do. Is it crazy? Okay, Crazy Talk is the software. It's called, the technique when they were invented it in the 50s for clutch cargo was called Synchrovox. And we are able to.
I think I had Crazy Talk at one time.
Yeah. You've seen that, like the cat that speaks and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is Annoying Orange. So it's an orange or an apple. And they put some, but now they're doing it one better because it's the mouth and the eyes. Wow.
Yeah.
Sophisticated. Sophisticated stuff. So try Crazy Talk. I remember that. Yeah, in fact, I think I have it somewhere on a shelf here.
I think it was a Gizwiz gadget when we first started.
Yeah, see if you can still buy that. I'll let you do that. Animate mouths on. He wants to do Disney characters. That's going to go over well. So, hello, Dickie D.
Yes, sir. How are you,
What do you got for us? Every week, Dick comes by with, oh, yeah, they still make Crazy Talk. I'll be darned. 2D animations. It's from Real Illusion, R-E-A-L. Actually, Reallusion, RealLusion.com. Animation. Yeah, this does exactly what you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's upgraded from when we talked about it.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb when we...
Yeah.
But you can try it for free, see what it'll do. So, what do you got for us?
Oh, I have one of those gadgets that you have no need for.
Good. That means I'll buy it right
away. And I already know that people are intrigued by it because I've gotten several emails. One was, Dick, I have absolutely no use for this gadget, and I can't wait to get my hands on one.
I probably already
And then yesterday, a guy emailed me and said, I fly kites. Maybe that'll justify me. And the gadget is called Vavood.
Vavood.
Vavood. I mean, it's worth getting one just to tell people that hey, have you seen my Vavood? All right, so Vavood is a way to turn most or a lot of Android smartphones into a wind meter. Yeah, I know, right, already. Well, wait a minute. A man who runs with a parachute on his back and doesn't have a wind meter, I think you, of all people, need... You need this when you fly your quadcopter.
Yes.
To know what the winds are.
So does it have those little cups on a
yes,
bar
exactly.
that spin around?
It's dual cups. Each cup has a little magnet in it. Now, it goes into the headphone jack, but there's no actual electrical connection. You could actually hold your Vavood in your hand.
I do all the time, yes.
Yeah, and see the wind speed because the two little magnets in the Vavood then communicate with the magnetic sensor in your phone, and they use sound algorithms to come up with the wind speed. It goes up to clock speeds up to about 50 miles an hour. But a real great use for this is still in the works, and that's that you can plot on a map where you are and what the wind speeds are. So if you're a sailor or you're going out wakeboarding or you're doing anything that depends on the wind, you will know what the wind is at that exact location.
Now, how do you spell Vavood? Because I can't find it.
Yeah, it's VAAVUD.
Oh.
Okay, and let's see. I only have they just,
smartphone anemometer. Does it work on iPhone only, or is it?
There it is. You know, it does not show any iPhones. Yeah, that's what the little guy looks like.
But this is an iPhone that it's on here. So
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For some reason,
iPhone
on
or
there,
Android.
Android, all the Galaxies, the 2, 3, and 4. You need a little adapter for the Galaxy 2.
It doesn't. It just says for smartphones. So I guess if you could, what you'd need though is the special Vavood software.
Yes. Well, the app is free.
Yeah, it says iPhone 4, 4S, 5, Samsung Galaxy 2, 3, 4.
There you go.
It needs a phone that has a some sort of accelerometer in it or something.
Yeah, all they said was
a magnetic field sensor.
Yeah, that's what
digital
that's what
compass.
They were saying.
So if your phone has a compass, it will work.
And it's available now. Wow. It was a Kickstarter project that got funded very quickly. It's under $50, and BiteMyApple.com carries it.
Pardon? You can visit gizwiz.biz, gizwiz.biz. That's Dick's website, and it's a chance for you to win something everybody's always wanted.
The current one.
This is it. Something somebody's always wanted, which is their very own autographed copy of Mad Magazine. Visit gizwiz.biz. Scroll down, click the What the Heck Is It contest. Dick's asking you to name a gadget. We've got a close-up picture. They look like guitar picks. Don't know what they are. Truth is, doesn't matter what they are. There are 12 autographed Mad Magazines for the right answer, 24 for the wrong answer. So, just play the odds and get it wrong. But clever wrong. Read all the rules and play the game. You're playing for the October issue of Mad Magazine, but you have until midnight tonight Eastern time to enter.
Correct, sir.
And then you'll do another one tomorrow.
Yeah, start a new one on the 1st of September.
Awesome. Dickie D, always a pleasure. Dick DeBartolo, gizwiz.biz. Hang around. We're going to do the Giz Fizz, Dick's little show that he does after. But first, I don't think we have time to take another call. I hate to start a call and not be able to finish it. You know what I'm saying, Heather?
I do, but do you think Lori would be quick?
I don't know. You know. I don't know.
Her neighbor actually asked for their Wi-Fi password because hers doesn't work in a certain part of the house.
Oh, well, that would just be a question of whether she's feeling neighborly. If you give them your Wi-Fi password, they have access to your network. Some routers have a guest password. Yours might. If it does, you could safely give them a guest password. They'd be using your bandwidth. And here's something to keep in mind. You're also liable for whatever they do on your network. So if they are doing something illegal, pirating videos, sharing child porn, selling drugs, then you would be liable. They'd be using your network. Especially since you would have had given them a password, you'd be complicit. So, in general, I don't recommend doing that. But if you know them, you trust them, and you want to be neighborly, you could do that. You could do that. I wouldn't. Hey, thank you, Heather Hammond. Hank, thank you, Nathan Staten, back at the studio. Thank you all for joining me. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.